Hey there, all you cool, epic, and awesome fans, followers, and listeners. Welcome back to episode 63 of the Cool, Epic, Awesome podcast. My name is Matt, and I am your co host.
And I'm your other co-host, Joe.
And first of all, just want to wish everyone happy holidays, Merry Christmas. We're
Yeah,
recording this on December 26th, so day after Christmas, but still kind of the holiday season going
feel,
on
yeah,
until, I guess, New Year's, really, right?
yeah, pretty
Um,
much.
Yeah, we're not in school anymore, so sadly we're working through this, but still, it's a good time to be around family, watch
Family.
some nice Christmas films. I know, Joe,
Yeah,
you were watching like Muppet Christmas
yeah. I
Carol the other
attempted to
day, right?
throw on when I attempted to throw on the Muppets Christmas Carol with our family here, but no one really kind of wanted to watch. We actually had someone say they wanted to watch Red One instead, and I'm not even kidding.
You mean the better film?
Yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah. Anyways, yeah, today's episode is gonna be pretty packed because this episode's delayed because I've been sick for the past like 2 weeks and it's just been very busy. We were supposed to record a couple days ago, but we actually have 6 movies to discuss today.
Yeah,
So we're gonna try to keep it somewhat brief. If there's anything that we don't get to, you wanna hear more about any particular movie, maybe reach out. If there's enough interest, we'll revisit it if we don't talk long enough. But yeah, the film slate for today is A Complete Unknown, Queer, Kraven, Sonic 3, The Brutalist, and then Black Christmas. We'll cap it off
yeah.
with, which is what I recommended on the last episode. But
Quite a
yeah,
packed.
yeah, it's quite a roster of films there.
But
Yeah, so I guess to start, we already actually recorded our A Complete Unknown review
yeah,
because we saw it the 4th, which was like 3 weeks ago almost. It was like 3 weeks before it came out. We were able to see
yeah.
it early. So, yeah, we ended up recording it, like, the day after just so our thoughts were fresh. So, I guess I'll just toss that in right here. Alright, so to talk about A Complete Unknown, which Joe and I actually got to see on the 4th of December, which is, what, like, 3 weeks before it
Pretty
actually
early. Yeah,
releases? It's pretty crazy. We were
yeah.
we were supposed to see Werewolves, and then I just got us tickets to the screening somehow, and we ended up canceling on that, but
What theater did we see it at again? It was actually
A
pretty cool.
yeah, Angelica,
And yeah, the
um,
Angelica Film
the An
Center.
Angelica Film Center, it was awesome
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
I
I've
like
never
that
been there.
cafe they have. That was really
Yeah.
cool.
So the giant flow cat.
Yeah. Seems like a very much kinda cinephile
Yeah,
theater, you know?
yeah. Everyone there looked like they, some people well, half the people look like they didn't have a job, but
Yeah.
the other half look like,
The other half
pretty
looked like they had something wrong with them too.
yeah,
So it's
so
just like a
our type of
good
people, you know?
yeah, a good mix of people there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so for those of you who don't know, this is, a Bob Dylan biopic. It's directed by James Mangold, and it stars Timothy Chalamet as the lead. So I'll give a little synopsis really quick. So New York, early 1960s, against the backdrop of a vibrant music scene and tumultuous cultural upheaval, an enigmatic 19-year-old from Minnesota arrives in the West Village with his guitar and revolutionary talent, destined to change the course of American music. So initial thoughts was I really enjoyed the film. Um, I think the performances were fantastic, and I think Timothy is rightfully getting the Oscar buzz that he deserves. He was really,
Yeah,
really good.
yeah,
I was kind of blown away by his performance. Um,
yeah. I feel like he just really embodies the character, like, the mannerisms and the way he, like if you look at old clips of Bob Dylan and, like, the way he speaks in the movie, it's just, like, eerily similar.
yeah, and honestly, I wasn't really either a fan of Bob Dylan or really even knew much about him before this. But I liked how the film kind of went into the good and the bad. They didn't really sugarcoat like how much of an
No.
asshole he was at points.
Yeah, so
She
sorry, I didn't mean to cut
No,
you
go
off.
ahead. Go ahead.
It's actually based off a book, by, I believe, Elijah Walls, the author. It's called Dylan Goes Electric, and it's, like, about when he made the switch from like, when he was at that festival, Newport Folk Festival, and he made the switch to electric, and it's just kinda, like, about the kinda fallout of that. So it's based off a very short period of his life. Like I kind of thought going into it, it was going to be covering after like I saw Elvis and stuff. I thought kind of it would cover like his entire life, but it's only really what 3 years, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it takes place over the course of 3 to 4 years. That was
Yeah,
also something that surprised me, but it is kind of a
not a
new way to
not a
tell
yeah
a biopic about someone, just not do their whole life, but cover, like, a short period, and I think that's interesting
yeah.
because you can
It's
you
not
can
necessarily a bad thing. Yeah,
yeah, I know Bob Dylan's biopic has been done previously. I think Cate Blanchett played him, right?
yeah. Which
I
I
thought it
didn't
was
know.
I thought it was Tilda Swinton at first. I remember
That's
mentioning
kind of
that too.
wild. Like that. I feel like if that happened now, that would be like crazy.
Well, yeah, people would be calling it woke for
Yeah,
sure, but it is, like, a strange casting.
yeah.
I mean,
I kind of yeah. I'm like I want to watch that. I'm like really intrigued.
yeah,
But
um, but yeah, it was
yeah,
cool to find out more about this character. Well, not character, but more about
yeah,
this real person. Because, like I said, I wasn't that familiar. I like the setting a lot, taking place in New York
yeah.
in what is it? It's the
1960s.
'60s,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So, that was really cool. Um, yeah, and some of the other characters were good too.
Yeah.
I think Edward Norton was really good. I liked his
Yeah.
character.
Ella Fanning and Monica Barbaro, I believe her name is, were both great. Um, Barbaro plays another singer at the time, but I'm not familiar with who it is.
I'll look. I feel like it was, like, Jane
Or
something.
Joan or something like that.
Joan Baez.
Yeah.
She was really good, and
Yeah,
she had a
she's great.
great, beautiful voice. I don't know, I'm
Yeah.
assuming that was her actual voice, but
Yeah.
she was, like, the only female pilot from Top Gun: Maverick. That's where I recognized her from. I knew, like, I
Yeah.
had seen her somewhere, but she was really great in that too,
Yeah.
so it's good that she's getting
That's
another role like that.
and then Ella
Um,
Fanning plays his kinda, like, love interest, I guess.
yeah, I like where they went with her character and how she has that, not really speech, but she kinda has that conversation with Bob Dylan at the end where she's
And
like she feels like she's one of those plates that a circus performer balances,
yeah,
and she's saying Bob Dylan is basically the performer and she's the plate, and she's saying it's a lot of fun to be juggling the plates, but, you know, it
not if
sucks
you're
to
the
be a
plate.
plate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was really cool, and it just made sense with their situation,
Yeah.
you know?
One thing I wanted to say, not the movie isn't bad by any means, or I guess this is kind of the knock on it. It didn't feel like very stylized. It felt very kind of um, I don't want to say bland, but I felt just very styleless in my opinion. I don't know if you agree.
I agree, and especially looking at something like Elvis, which was that last year or 2 years ago,
Few
right?
years ago, yeah,
Which had so much style. I
yeah,
think that really fit with that character though, with Elvis.
yeah. Obviously,
I
it's like
keep
a
I keep
different
saying
kind of.
character, but these are real people. But
It's a
compared
different
to
kind of take, like
yeah, but
but
I remember when I walked out of the theater, the first thing I said to you was well, besides saying, like, how great Timothy was and everything, I was like, "If you told me that, like, James Mangold didn't direct this and it was directed by a random person, I would have believed you." There was nothing that put his stamp on the movie or
yeah.
no direction that made it his, like, anything unique. I don't know if it has to do with
I guess
Mangold.
he just because it's based off the book, he just kinda I don't know, that's his interpretation of the book. Did he write the script, actually?
I'm not
Let's
sure.
find
I don't
out.
really know if he writes his scripts. I'm not
Uh,
100% sure on
no,
that.
yeah, he was a writer. Him and Jay Cooks, who also wrote Silence.
But,
Um,
yeah, there was no style in it in that I was it's not something that I watched and I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's a James Mangold movie," you know?
yeah,
It which is it's not necessarily a bad
bad
thing,
thing,
but
yeah.
I feel like the best directors kinda make their style known and, like, a
He has
Raimi
a
or
really, like, kinda Mangold has a very interesting filmography. He's all over the place.
yeah, he has Ford vs. Ferrari and Logan,
Logan and Walk the Line.
yeah,
And
and
now
then he
that I
also
mean,
has Indiana Jones.
this is not like a bad this is gonna go down as one of his better films, honestly.
Yeah, no, I still thought it was great.
Yeah.
Like, I really loved the movie, but I just didn't there wasn't enough of his style
His
on it.
style no, I agree.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um
one thing that I find interesting and it's for a lot of these roles is how these actors like learn to play guitar and learn these instruments for their roles. It's actually crazy.
Yeah, I think Timothy Chalamet said it took him like 5 years to really prepare for the role. Like he learned how to play the harmonica and stuff like that. I
Yeah,
don't
because
know if he knew how to play
he's
guitar
actually
before.
playing his music,
Yeah,
you know?
but he
And
comes from a musical background. Chalamet, right?
I don't know about musical. He probably does. I know he went to acting school. He went to I think he went to NYU
Yeah, I was gonna say he probably went to
film school, but
NYU.
he went to
Yeah.
LaGuardia, which is an acting school in New York. That's kind of for like
Oh, the high
gifted.
school? Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow.
So I'm sure there was musical background there, you know,
Yeah,
but it goes into preparing for the role and becoming this person, and it's just kinda it's very impressive, you know?
yeah,
And I know a lot of actors do it, and especially because, as you know, I just started trying to learn guitar myself, and it's incredibly difficult, you
yeah,
know? So the
yeah.
fact that he was able to just do it to prepare for this and then be that good, at like, as good as probably obviously not as good as Bob Dylan, but enough to
Convincible
yeah,
performance. Yeah.
yeah. So, very impressive. Um, but yeah, how about favorite scene in the movie? Does anything come to mind?
I mean, I'm a big Johnny Cash fan, so that kind of sequence of him at the end with Johnny Cash where he plays the last song, I kind of enjoyed that.
Yeah, the Johnny Cash
Yeah, we didn't even talk
character
about that.
was
Yeah,
he was
was
good.
it was good. Yeah, I
Play
was right actually. It's played by the guy from Logan.
it's Boyd Holbrook or
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah, I couldn't even tell.
yeah, he was
It
like
looked a little bit like
unrecognizable.
him, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
let me
Honestly,
pull that
because
up.
I saw he was listed as it, and I kind of like didn't. Wait, where the hell? Hold on, I had the thing pulled up on my laptop, but it's not coming up now.
What? The letterbox?
Yeah, yeah. Hold on.
Apparently Nick Offerman was in it. Who did he play?
What? Maybe he played one of
Alan
like those
Alan
like
Lomax?
you probably played one of those like people that ran the festival.
How did I not recognize him? I
I didn't
love Nick
recognize him
Offerman.
either.
Let me see, Nick.
He must have had like a man small role.
I'm looking this up. Nick Offerman, complete unknown. Let's see.
Yeah, it's
I'm
like
seeing.
Boyd Hodbrook or whatever his name is.
Yeah, I
He
can't
was in
find any
Bike
pictures
Riders
of
too. I
him.
didn't know that.
Interesting. Yeah, he was. He was good in Bike Riders.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, for me, favorite scene. I mentioned it a little before, but it was kind of that scene where Bob Dylan and his girl. Let me get her name really quick. 1 second,
Ella
sorry.
Fannings.
Sylvie. It was this. Yeah, my favorite scene was the scene with Bob Dylan and Sylvie, where she kind of realizes that she doesn't want to go along for this ride anymore, and it's them
Hmm.
talking in between the fence. It's kind of like letting go of this lifestyle and this
Yeah,
dream that this person is going to change for her because he's not,
yeah.
and he's just
They,
so sucked up into this life. Um, so I just thought that was a very well done scene, and it really kind of shows their relationship and how Bob Dylan was as a person, as a partner. So I thought that was very well done.
yeah, I agree. Did you have a favorite character? I mean, it's kind of
It's gotta be Bob. It's gotta
yeah,
be Bob. A lot to do with the performance too,
yeah,
but just very interesting person. Just kinda how he just doesn't give a fuck really
yeah.
about
He just
anything. Doesn't care what anyone thinks about him. Um,
marches to the beat of his own drum type of, you know.
yeah, and it makes me kinda more interested in the artist to sorta check
It's
him
almost
out and
inspiring in a way.
yeah,
Just the way he just like he does what he wants unapologetically.
yeah. Probably probably like one of the worst people to have as a partner. Like that scene where, Sylvie was talking to him saying like, "I don't know anything about you," and all this stuff.
Yeah,
And then she's like, "I told you about my parents and this and that." And he's like, "I never asked for that. And why do you care about my past? Like, you should only care about my
yeah,
future, this and that." Sort of gaslighting her a bit.
yeah,
And he cheated on her, but that's besides the point.
yeah.
But
But anyway, if you want to, I don't know if you want to get to rating.
yeah, we can get to ratings. You wanna go
Yeah,
first?
I'll go first. I actually I give it a 4 stars, so an 8 out of 10. The performances are the biggest takeaway for me. Uh, Timothy's the top of his game, but all honestly, everybody's great in this. It's just I wish it had a little more, was a little more stylized. I feel like they could have took advantage of 1960s New York a little bit better. But you know, still a really good movie. I don't know, Matt. What did you give it?
So I gave it a 4.5 stars, 9 out of 10. Like you mentioned, the performances were fantastic. I think Timothy Chalamet gave an Oscar-worthy performance. It might be career best. I don't really know if I could think of anything else that he's better in than this. And yeah, just I don't know, just very interesting look into this person, and it made me more interested in exploring more about their life, which kind of is, I guess, the point of something like this.
Yeah,
So very good.
did its job.
Yep. Okay, so I hope you guys like that review.
Yeah,
We put lots of thought into it, and we
yes,
love that movie. So,
it's a good movie.
anyways, all right. So next, I think we'll keep this pretty brief, but we saw Queer, directed by Luca Guadagnino. We were supposed to talk about it last episode, but just kind of like forgot.
Forgot. I think because we just ended up seeing it like pretty early compared to its release. I think it only released like a week ago,
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, because since we're in New York, we got to see it like a couple weeks
a couple
early.
weeks early. Yeah,
Yeah, the wide release I think was last week, but yeah, I'll pull up the synopsis here really quick. So it stars Daniel Craig and Drew Starkey, who Drew Starkey, I think he's from Outer Banks or something. One of those like
yeah, he's from Outer Banks. Yeah,
yeah, I knew it was one of those just popular TV shows with like younger people.
yeah.
But here, I'll give you the synopsis. Here we go. In 1950s Mexico City, William Lee, an American expat in his late 40s, leads a solitary life amidst a small American community. However, the arrival in town of Eugene Allerton, a young student, stirs William into finally establishing a meaningful connection with someone. So the film basically just follows this older guy played by Craig who meets this younger guy who's played by Drew Starkey. And it's sort of about how their relationship develops. And you could tell that Drew Starkey isn't as invested in it as I should probably say their characters' names.
Yeah.
Hold on.
What's the names?
So Eugene, who's the younger guy, he's not as invested as William, who's Daniel Craig's character. And it just kind of goes through their
Their
sort
kind
of
of
loves.
relationship.
Yeah. I really liked the first act, but the second and third, I was not a big fan of, especially the third.
The
It kind
third
of
was
like,
very kind of goes off the rails,
yeah,
in my opinion.
if you've seen it, you'll know what we're talking about. It kind of just completely loses any sense of realism and like focused story. I feel like what they were trying to say it just like didn't it wasn't properly conveyed, so it just ended up saying nothing. I know a lot of people really
Yeah.
like the movie, but I was not a big fan of it,
I know
honestly.
people I saw people calling it Luca Guadagnino's B- Beau is Afraid, which I mean, obviously not a lot more tame than Beau is Afraid, but I can kind of see what they're coming from with this. I don't know if
Yeah.
you agree.
No, I agree. I understand that connection because it's just like an out there kind of very different than his other films. At its core, like it is about their relationship, which that's what Luca's good at, like really fleshing out those relationships. We just saw with Challengers similar, and I know you watched Call Me by Your Name. I haven't seen it
Yeah.
yet. How does that sort of compare to this? Are they similar?
No, I honestly I like, and not that obviously it's a not a good relationship, but the relationship in Going by Your Name like is kind of a lot more fleshed out and shown better, I think, in the movie. Like it feels a lot more relatable in this.
Yeah, when they like venture, there's a part in the third act where they decide to like venture into a jungle and take ayahuasca, which is like some
Some
sort of
type of
crazy. I mean, I've
mushroom.
heard of it in real life. That's what Aaron Rodgers takes.
Yeah.
That he like went crazy, but
Bro, Loki, when they said that in my head, I thought it was ashwagandha.
oh,
Like,
ashwagandha, like the
yeah.
gummies that you buy in the store.
No, but isn't that a mushroom too?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think
That's
it's like a mushroom. So I
I
thought in my
actually
head I was
yeah.
like, why the fuck? I was like, oh, all right. Like I didn't know this shit made people hallucinate.
Yeah, and you could buy it at
I
CVS.
had a fucking CVS, yeah. But
Yeah.
um,
Um, yeah, there's a couple side characters. I gotta shout out, Jason Schwartzman's character. He
Schwartzman,
was
yeah,
he was great. I wish he was in it more.
yeah, he was funny.
He has, like, a fat suit on, and he's playing this overly like, he was purposely flamboyantly gay,
Yeah,
and his character is just very funny, the way he interacted with people. I wish he
I
was in it a bit more,
I think the
but
town that they live in is just like an area because when this takes place, homosexuality is illegal in the United States. I think so. They all just kind of live in Mexico because it's not illegal there. So that's why there's a lot of like Americans in that town.
yeah, it said it takes place in the '50s, right?
Yeah.
So but, yeah,
There's a,
honestly, we
there's
did
also
watch
like
this a while ago, so I don't really have that much on it.
yeah.
Everything about a lot about the movie kinda, like, left my mind at this point, but what were you gonna say, Joe?
They also like explore his kind of people's like opioid addictions at the time and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, I
Uh,
forgot to talk about that.
yeah. Like
That's
he's shown having like a pretty bad like opium addiction. Like he goes through withdrawal during the trip and stuff like that. Um, but I guess it was kind of something a lot of people struggled with at that time.
yeah, now that you mention that, that honestly brings up maybe one of my favorite scenes in the movie, which is when they go on a trip, him, Eugene and William go on a trip, and he runs out of drugs while he's there. So they basically go to a doc he starts tweaking out, he's sweating,
Yeah, drawing.
he said he's having, like, diarrhea or something, like, he's just getting sick, and they go to a doctor, and he basically admits to the doctor that he's having withdrawals from the opiates, and the doctor's kinda like, "You have to quit. You realize that, right? Like, it's gonna kill you." And then he hands him the prescription back, and he just gives him, like, whatever it was, like,
Yeah.
4 vials anyway, even after he just told him all this stuff. It just kinda shows how, like, messed up the medical I don't know what the word is, medical system or
Well,
drug.
I don't know if that was because if he didn't have it, like he. Oh, this is like how I looked at it. Maybe because it's medical, but like when people are withdrawing, like they have to have the medication or like they'll die.
To
Like
me, it was more I thought it was supposed to be framed as the doctor knew it was wrong, but he was doing it anyway. He was kinda just like, "Whatever, I'll just give it to you anyway."
I feel well, the doctor definitely knew that he should quit, but I thought it was much just more like the doctor, like, because if he didn't get it, he probably would have died.
Yeah,
But
that's
I
true.
don't know. That was just kind of my interpretation of it.
Yeah. I know you mentioned to me earlier you liked the sort of hallucination scenes at the end.
Yeah, they were kind of. It honestly reminded me of that movie Society. I don't know if any. Actually, some of our viewers have definitely seen that. Because there's like a scene of them kind of dancing after they take the mushrooms, and their skin, like, I don't know how to explain it. Kind of slides into each other's skin, like
Yeah,
they kind of
that's
just become one person, sort of. It was really creative, kind of. I don't know, I guess storytelling, but it reminded me of that scene a lot. So I kind of really, I
yeah.
enjoyed those scenes.
Reminded me of Infinity Pool a little bit,
Yeah, like
Possessor,
that type of
that
vibe.
kinda psychedelic. I what did you do you know what it meant at the end, what after they're hallucinating? Eugene kinda who's the younger one, says to William, like, "I'm not a queer." Even though they've had sex throughout
Yeah.
the whole movie and he's been gay, why does he say he's not a queer at the end? And why is it sorta like this realization? I didn't understand that.
I think he more just pitied him the whole time. Like he just like I don't
Ye
know if he's like fully gay, or maybe at least in this story, because he's still young. He's still kind of like I guess exploring his sexuality. So I guess him kind of going through this whole experience with him, he realizes that he's not queer.
maybe. I guess. I mean, I don't know. It just was weird to me because like, it's not
I
like
mean, I feel like it's something that
why
we
would he be
probably like.
pretending to be gay, though? Or not pretending, but,
I
like,
don't think
what
he was pretend. He's probably just didn't. I don't know. It's
he was,
something
like,
me and you probably
exploring it
don't under. Yeah, like
and
we don't
realized
understand because we don't. I don't know. We don't
because
like.
we're not experimental with our sexuality
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. I don't know how to. I didn't know how to put it into words, but you know what I mean. Like I feel like it's
Yeah,
something we.
I guess I could understand that. I don't know. I just didn't really get that part, and it
Yeah,
seemed like it was
I
supposed to
def.
be a big plot thing,
I
but
definitely think it's one of Luca's weaker films, in my opinion. I don't know if you agree with me.
Yeah, I like Luca, not as much as you. I think he's like a
Yeah,
little bit overrated. I didn't like Bones and All that much. This I think is his worst film though that I've seen
yeah.
by a pretty wide margin. But
I watched his
I don't.
Christmas short. Actually, I forgot
Oh yeah, how was
about
that?
it. It was cute. I liked it.
It was.
Um,
It's not what is it, like 40 minutes?
yeah, it's like 40 minutes. It's not.
Yeah, I think he's a good director. I just watched some of his directors on Directors with Denis Villeneuve, them kind of going
Oh
back and
yeah,
forth.
yeah.
And he seems like an interesting guy, just the way that he approaches making his
His
films.
filmmaking. He's
And
got
he
a lot of
mentioned
stuff lined
that
up.
I didn't know this, but Queer is based on a book. He said he read the book when he
Yeah,
was younger and always wanted to make the movie. So
yeah.
that's pretty interesting.
I know the
I,
writer.
and he's
Well,
Italian, so you gotta.
no, that I knew. Like
I'm saying
Guadagnino.
he's our Italian
He's our
representation
yeah,
in directors.
in directing. Yeah, but he actually does have a lot of projects lined up for the future. He's got well, this already filmed. His next movie after The Hunt, with Julia Roberts, Andrew Garfield, and Ayo Edebari. But he's doing American Psycho, and apparently he's doing the uh,
Sergeant Rock.
Sergeant Rock movie, and then also apparently an adaptation of The Lord of the Flies.
Well, that'll be interesting for him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
he's one that works. He fucking makes movies, which I really like. I like when
yeah,
directors just put out a lot.
pump out stuff, and it's
Like
and I mean honestly,
even
like even
like a
his bet like
Terrence.
this. Well,
Go ahead. No, no, go ahead.
I was saying even like he does most of it's pretty good quality, I'd say. Like this is definitely one of his weaker films, and like I was a spoiler for my rating, but I gave it 3 stars. Like that's not like a horrible film.
No, not at all. Not at all. Like, and at least with him, you know you're gonna get something interesting and at
Yeah,
least
yeah.
effort put into it.
He'll have a unique kind of
It's
like
not like a
his
Red One, you know.
yeah, yeah. But
But yeah, no. What I was gonna say is like a filmmaker like Tarantino. Yeah, he makes good movies, but why do you have to wait 7, 8 years between films? What
yeah.
like it's just annoying.
No, it's yeah, it's
This is his second movie of the year, Guadagnino. He had Challengers and now Queer, all both in the same year. And he's gonna probably have a release next year, right? The one you just mentioned?
yeah, he has After the Hunt is next year. And then apparently he's shooting Sergeant Rock.
Yeah. I
That's
understand you can't rush the artist, but that's always something that bothers me. Even
I
in
feel like
music.
he
Like
doesn't
people
write.
like
Does he
J.
write though?
Cole, Kendrick Lamar, they put out albums once every like 5 years. It's
Yeah.
just annoying. Like what I understand like not rushing the artist, but you have fans who want content from you. So that's why I respect Luca. He works. Nolan
Yeah.
too. He's another one that puts out shit a lot.
Ridley.
Yeah, Ridley Scott. But all right. I guess you want to get to ratings unless you wanted to say anything else about it.
No, I think you pretty much covered it. I gave it 3 stars, like I said before. I do like a lot of like the way it's shot and a lot of the scenery. They used a lot of miniatures, like buildings and stuff like that for these, which I think is really cool. Like and a lot of the shots in the hallways and stuff like that. I don't know if you noticed that, man.
No, I didn't, but I saw something on Twitter. Someone mentioned that too. Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Um, but it's some of the stories a little weird, and I don't know. Maybe it's just because I can't really relate to it. I don't understand it, but overall, still a good movie. So I give it 3 out of 5, 6 out of 10.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I ended up giving it a 2.5 star or 5 out of 10. So it's pretty easily my lowest Luca film that I've seen. But it's weird because this is kind of getting universal praise, and it's just one of those that I just didn't really get. I like the first act a lot. I like their relationship. I kind of like just following around Daniel Craig's character in this
Yeah,
little town.
he
As
was
soon as
really
they leave
good.
the town, what do you say? Sorry.
I was saying we didn't even talk about him. He was actually really good.
Yeah, he was. He was
Yeah,
good. I was surprised. As soon the first scene he started talking, I was surprised by how like
his
good his
the
accent
accent
was.
was yeah.
Yeah, because I'm used to hearing
His whole
him.
like
You know.
demeanor and the way like
Yeah.
his kind of body language and stuff.
Yeah. But anyways, um, yeah, I like just following around Daniel Craig's character, seeing kind of his what he does in the nighttime and going out and whatever, like just the way
Yeah,
that he acts. As soon as they left that town, and especially in the third act when they randomly go into the jungle and there's just all this weird shit going on with hallucinations and doing drugs, and it just kind of lost me.
Lost
I
me. Yeah,
I didn't really understand what they were getting at. It seemed like they were trying to say so much that there's no clear sort of focused image of what the movie's supposed to mean.
yeah,
And maybe I'm just an idiot and I can't interpret it, but it just didn't work for me.
fair.
So,
But yeah,
yeah. All right. I guess we can move on to our next movie now, which is pretty insane departure from Queer, but
yeah,
we actually have Kraven from the Sony Spider-Man
yeah.
universe. I
I
don't
could
know if
read the. Yeah, I'll read
yeah,
the
go ahead, Joe.
Raven the Hunter. Raven Cravenoff. Wait, is that actually his last name?
Well,
Craven Cravenoffs?
no, his first name is not Kraven. They say it in the movie. If you go down to the cast list, it'll probably
Wait,
say
let
it.
me see. Oh, sorry, that was just like kind of.
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Oh,
It's like
Sergey. Sergey.
yes,
Oh,
Sergey.
Cravenoff. Oh, okay, okay. Craven Cravenoff's complex relationship with his ruthless gangster father, Nikolai, starts him down a path of vengeance with brutal consequences, motivating him to become not only the greatest hunter in the world, but also one of the most feared. Um, so I mean, obviously, me and Matt are ready to like rip this movie to shreds. So I'm just gonna say the very little positives I had about it. I thought the fighting was good. Like, well, it was pretty good, honestly. The action and the gore was decent.
Yeah, I like that it was rated R.
Like, yeah,
It
they utilized the rated R thing. I thought that the Rhino. I don't know. People were shitting on the Rhino, but honestly, I didn't think it looked bad. I thought it was fine. I don't know what
yeah, I
you.
think I mean, what can you do
What? Yeah,
with
like what do you? He's literally just a. It's better than the mech suit. You know.
yeah, if you want a realistic actual human rhino hybrid, what else could you have
Yeah.
asked for
Yeah.
besides that? So,
And the cast was like actually a pretty good, decent cast. But besides that, not really much going on here. It's like I feel like these Sony movies, like all the spin-offs, they all have like a similar story where like there's a main guy and then like there's like a villain that he was friends with at one point, and then I don't know, like it just feels so bland and generic, and
yeah, it's
I
just
don't know.
like
Like, what is there even to say about this dude?
the thing is about these movies, and it's all these Sony Spider-Man spin-off movies. When they announced Kraven the Hunter, the movie, we knew it was going to be bad. We
Yeah,
knew, the press knew, the actors probably knew. Who thought that this movie was going to be good? Yet the executives at Sony are like, this is a good idea to make this. Like even an idiot can look at this and be like, this is a bad idea. We shouldn't make this, and they just do it anyway, and it sucks.
yeah.
It's not like this was a surprise that it wasn't good and it didn't make money. Like,
No,
how
like
are the people running this studio so incompetent that they can't understand that this is gonna fail?
yeah,
I don't understand. I and it's I don't even know. It just like it grinds my gears that that these are the type of films that get made.
yeah.
But
Hit the grind my gears.
yeah, the classic white
One
person
person, yeah. But
angry
yeah, I mean,
catchphrase.
but the biggest thing too is that Kraven's entire existence is based off the fact that he's hunting Spider-Man. So without Spider-Man, his character kind of doesn't work.
But even if you take Spider, that's a good point, yes. But even if you take Spider-Man out,
No, yeah,
there's
I agree. Like there you can definitely tell a story with Kraven without Spider-Man, but it's
but
just so poorly executed in this.
but I'm saying
What?
like his whole purpose isn't necessarily to hunt Spider-Man. It's to find the
The
greatest
best,
hunt.
the greatest hunt. Yeah, so those who aren't familiar in the comics, Kraven is essentially this like hunter, like literally that just hunts big game, and he tries to hunt like the biggest game, basically like the toughest animal, and he kills like all these animals, and eventually here, like I guess I don't know, he considers Spider-Man an animal, so he goes to New York and tries to kill Spider-Man. That's kind of the origin of his character.
Yeah, he wants to hunt the unhuntable, like take down
Yeah,
the biggest game that he can. Craven in this movie isn't he doesn't hunt. He doesn't want to hunt.
yeah,
He's an animal lover. Like that's then at that point that's not even Craven.
even
It's
yeah.
you're giving him the opposite character traits that he has from the comics.
He doesn't even hunt in the movie.
Like for all intents and purposes, they're just using the name Craven just to sell tickets, which it didn't even work.
Yeah,
But
I
It's
think
not
it's like
Kraven.
one of the lowest projected opening superhero movies ever, I think, right?
Yeah, and I think this is something that you mentioned to me that I didn't even think about, but you were so right on this, is that his dad is more like Kraven than him. His dad
Yeah.
basically is Kraven
His
from the comics,
He's just like a hunter, and like he's like the humans are the apex like, yeah, his dad the way his dad acts is how Craven actually is in the comics.
and that's how it should be because he's a villain.
Yeah.
They try to make him into a hero in this, and
Th
all
yeah,
of these
this
Sony spin-off movies are Spider-Man villains that end up just being heroes. So why are they gonna all come together to
to
fight
fight
Spider-Man
Spider-Man.
if they're all good people? It doesn't make
Yeah.
sense.
Venom
Apparently
is the
they're
only one I think that, like, he can have like, I don't know, there's other stories with Venom outside of Spider-Man. Like, obviously, it's ideal that he has his origin with Spider-Man, but, like, he could carry but that's different. I feel like Venom's, like, a popular character,
yeah,
you know?
that's true, and
Like,
he's worked with
Venom still did met like, decent money, I think.
yeah, yeah, but he's also worked with, Spider-Man before in the comics. Like,
Yeah.
they've teamed up, but also, even those movies, Eddie Brock is supposed to be a dick, and he's supposed to hate Spider-Man,
Hate Spider-Man, yeah.
but in the Venom movies, he's not a dick, he's, like, a nice guy, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's not he's not necessarily supposed to be a dick. I think it's just more like kind of the cards he's played, like because he loses his job, like he kind of gets kind of sent down that path, and it's kind
Yeah,
of like
like,
what
the Raimi movies kinda showed it.
Yeah, yeah. Like he's not necessarily bad. It's just like kind of I don't know,
Yeah,
but whatever.
but
That's
yeah,
besides the point.
that's exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. The editing was pretty bad too. There's
Yeah, I was gonna say that sorry, I didn't mean to cut
all
you
right,
off,
you're
but I was
good.
just agreeing with you with the editing, but continue.
There's points in the movie where I thought the movie's gonna end, and it just continued, like literally cuts to black, like the movie's gonna end, and then like another scene happens. Happened 3 times. Uh, I don't. You know the 3 scenes I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, yeah. One of them is spoiler. You don't want to know about the ending. Craven, skip this. But Craven basically gets his dad killed. He doesn't kill him himself, but he leaves him in the jungle with like a bear, and then
Yeah.
just doesn't load any of his guns, so he ends
Which
up getting
yeah,
killed.
for being a hunter his entire life, the moment he needs to load his gun the most, he just completely blanks for some reason.
Yeah, so he gets killed. Then you think the movie's gonna end, and then there's another scene where Craven's younger brother, who's kind of like a dork the whole movie, is like, "Oh, I just got this special medical treatment that makes me more confident and this and that and this and that." And he says how he's going to take over the father's business. And it's revealed that he's the chameleon from the comics, who's like a shape-shifting guy. I don't know if the chameleon is actually Craven's brother or
No,
they
it
just
is.
did
It
that.
is.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
But okay, so I guess if you're a real Spider-Man fan, you probably would have seen that coming.
Yeah.
But it's just like so dumb. He's like,
You ain't a
you,
webhead like me.
he's
Sorry.
like, they always called me a chameleon, and then he just like shapeshifts
Shape
his
shifting.
head into Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah.
It looks so goofy because it's on small shoulders and just not a broad body. And then
Hit.
they show his chameleon like comic accurate face, which I thought looked pretty cool.
Yeah,
Honestly,
that's how he looks like in the comics.
yeah,
Like listen, I'm not trying to praise this movie, but like that's one of the things that they actually got right.
yeah. Um, but yeah, it's just I don't know. Like the writing was on the wall as soon as this movie was announced. Like, was there any chance we'd be sitting here reviewing this movie saying that it was good?
No.
Is there any alternate world where we would be? I don't see
If
one.
Spider-Man was in the movie, maybe.
But it brings me back to another issue with these movies is they don't what is this, the 5th movie now or the 6th? And none
Yeah.
of them connect to each other. They're just all solo movies that tease connections and tease futures and nothing's paid off, nothing's connected to each other. The whole allure of these superhero universes is that the movies are interconnected. The characters connect with each other. They fight each other. They team up. No Sony Marvel characters have teamed up, interacted with each other, besides Morbius and Vulture for one scene.
And Vulture's kind of
And
not
he's not
even in.
even he's an MCU character that they just pulled in.
Yeah.
Just it's really I can't understand. Like I just don't get it, and it actually gets me annoyed. Like it genuinely gets me annoyed. Just
mean,
the fact that these movies keep getting made.
they said they're gonna take a pause now with
Yeah,
kind
I
of
saw
these
something
live
that they're gonna
action
reboot. What does that even mean?
reboot. What do you mean reboot?
They're gonna reboot their villain universe.
How?
I I don't know, bro. I don't know. I guess a new Venom, new Morbius, but nothing's even connected anyway, so it doesn't even
Wait, sorry,
matter.
my thing uh
Well, you
I don't
got
think my
disconnected?
yeah for a
No,
second.
I was saying I don't know. I mean, I guess a new Venom, new Morbius. I
Or they
don't know.
just, you know,
But
one hire good writers. They keep
nothing's
hiring
even
like
connected to each other anyway, so they
all
don't even
right. So
have to
wait,
reboot.
time out. Before we even let's look at the writers of this movie. I'm just because I'm on the letterbox.
I think
So
they wrote Madam Web.
Art McCarram, Matt Holliday, and Richard Wenk. All right, let's see. Matt Holliday wrote. All right, I mean this isn't the worst. Actually, he wrote Transformers: The Last Night,
It's pretty bad.
Uncharted, Men in Black International, which was bad, and the first Iron Man. But I feel like he
Okay.
probably
I
had like
feel
very
like
little to do with the Iron Man.
he probably like put in an apostrophe somewhere
Yeah,
and they give him credit.
let me
What about
see.
the other guy? I'm pretty sure one of the writers did either Morbius or Madam Web.
Matt Holliday, same thing as
I don't
yeah,
know.
Matt
Why
Holliday and Art McKellen wrote the same stuff, and then Richard Wenk wrote The Equalizer.
why does Sony never try to get a competent
Yeah,
director?
like
Who
not
did
even that.
create
None of these are really that good either. Like these are all pretty shit.
JC Chandor directed this? Like,
I did Triple Frontier. That was actually pretty solid.
I don't know.
It's not. It's just. It's the. I don't even know, man. There's so much wrong with
It's
these
just like
movies.
any idiot can just tell that these aren't gonna work from the second they're announced.
Yeah,
And how many flops do you have to put out before you get the message of like, okay, we should probably not do this anymore?
I know,
But
man. I mean,
I don't know. Do you have a favorite scene from this? Maybe anything come to
I
mind?
mean, nothing really like that. I don't know. There's nothing like really visually that comes to mind.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. There's so many moments in this where I don't even know if it's the editing or it's just so bad, like with shot continuity. Like,
Yeah.
there's a scene where it's such like a dumb scene, but I think it's when the Craven and his brother are younger and they get picked up outside of the school. They're getting picked up by a car. It shows one of the brothers go in the car and he opens the car door, goes in, and then it cuts, and then like they're both in the car. But it was just so jarring. Like, why don't you just show the other brother go in as well? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. It's just weird
No,
shit like that.
yeah. That's just maybe not everybody else notices, but I get it.
Yeah. Even like the first shot, one of the first shots of the movie, it's just like such a weird. It's when Craven is in the middle of the snow. It kind of just like pans around to him, and he's just standing there, and it shows his face, and it looks like he's about to say something, and it just cuts, and he doesn't say anything. So it just like shows him. That's his character introduction. It shows him just standing there, and like just like cuts. It just cuts like too short. I can't really. I don't know how to describe it. If I
Huh.
had the scenes in front of me, then I'd be able to articulate my thoughts more. But it's just so poorly made. It's really weird.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I mean, at least hopefully they take a little break now from this garbage, but who knows?
Yeah. Also, Christopher Abbott's randomly in it. He has like a
Oh
weird,
yeah, he
funny
plays like some
character.
rant. I forgot about that. I actually had a jump scare when I saw him.
The Foreigner. That's his name.
Yeah, that was it. But he played. It's like apparently a comic character. They just
Yeah,
added him in
I
for
like.
some
Yeah,
reason.
I looked it up after, and that's his power. They don't really explain his powers. I had to look it up to fully understand. But he basically in the comics can, if he makes eye contact with you and counts to 10, he basically puts you in a trance and then can move around for 10 seconds. So like by the time the person snaps out of the trance, it would appear to them as if he teleported, but you were just like in a trance while
Yeah,
he was moving.
trans.
But they never
That,
explain his powers. He just shows up and he's like
it's
1,
man funny that they just don't
2,
even explain
3.
anything.
Yeah.
And They just expect the audience. I low-key forgot they don't even explain his powers. He just low-key he just pulls up and just starts counting.
Yeah. Just I don't know. I don't even want to talk about this movie anymore. Honestly.
You
I
want to
want
get
to
to
just
ratings?
yeah, let's get to ratings. I'll go first for this one. So Kraven the Hunter, I gave a 1.5 star, 3 out of 10, and honestly, that's a generous rating for this movie. It's just a pile of
Yeah.
shit. I hate it.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as Madam Web, but
Did you
you
give Madam
take
Web?
Kraven. I think I gave that a 1 star, but I don't know. But you take Kraven, who's a popular villain, you make him a hero, and you completely change his entire drive of his character, which is the fact that he wants to always find the next hunt and find the hardest game to kill. You make a movie about a Kraven that doesn't like to hunt and is a pacifist and an animal lover. Like
Doesn't make any sense.
it doesn't make sense, and I don't know. I'm gonna have an aneurysm talking about it,
I get it.
but that's it. Go ahead.
I gave it a 1.5, so a 3 to 10. Fight scenes were good, I guess. That's really it. That's the only positive I could really say. There's also that random like witch character in it that like
That's it.
saves Craven. Yeah, I mean, what else? I don't even know what else to say about this movie.
Yeah,
The
sounds
equivalent
fair.
of like fucking uh, what are those like things that we used to do as kids that we heat up in the microwave, like the home meals?
A Lunchable.
No, you don't put a lunchable in the microwave. There's like a penguin on the front of it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
That's like what this movie tastes like.
No, it's not, bro. Those are fire. Those things. I don't know
Yeah,
what they're called, but
you know what I'm
yeah,
talking about, though,
I
right?
know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah,
that unlocked a memory. Don't ever disrespect those things by comparing them to Craven. All right, let's move on to a movie that was actually decent.
yeah.
Um, so Sonic the Hedgehog 3 we saw, which is the third film in the Sonic trilogy, starring Jim Carrey as Robotnik, Ben Schwartz as Sonic, Idris Elba as Knuckles, and in this one we got Keanu Reeves coming in to voice Shadow the Hedgehog.
I don't know who plays Tails.
Tails is Colleen O'Shaughnessy. Maybe I
I
could
think
be
it's. I
saying it
know. I
wrong.
think it's like the voice actor from the game.
Let's see here. Colleen. Tails in the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. I don't know. She does a lot of voice acting, but anyways. So I'll give the little synopsis here. Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails reunite against a powerful new adversary, Shadow, a mysterious villain with powers unlike anything they have faced before. With their abilities outmatched in every way, Team Sonic must seek out an unlikely alliance in hopes of stopping Shadow and protecting the planet. It was good. Solid movie. It's definitely made for kids. I was very surprised with the second Sonic film when it came out because I was like, this was actually kind of good and I liked
Yeah,
it. And just this franchise in general has surprised me.
yeah,
From the original ugly Sonic trailer to now having this, 3 movies and a spin-off.
and a
It's
fourth announced.
yeah, 4th movie announced. But yeah, this is the story is pretty by the books. It's the classic, oh, there's a bigger threat, so now the good guys have to team up with the original bad guy in order to face this other bad guy. We've seen it a
Yeah,
bunch of times. Shadow's a cool character, and I was surprised by how good Keanu was in that role because I'm not a Keanu hater. I can't. No one hates Keanu Reeves, but I just don't think he's a good actor. I like him as a person,
yeah.
but he doesn't really have much range in my opinion. So I thought he was pretty good.
Nah,
Uh,
yeah. He's actually. It's not. I thought at first it was just gonna be him, kind of with no. I don't know. I thought it was just gonna be like sound like him talking the whole time, but he actually put like a good performance in.
yeah, they used weird lines of dialogue in the trailers for
Yeah,
him, honestly. But yeah,
yeah. Um,
anything you got
they
to
also
say?
have Jim Carrey plays Robotnik's dad, so he plays two characters. He's honestly really good in this, Jim Carrey. I forgot.
Yeah,
He just, I feel like they just let him kind of freeball it, like just do whatever he wants.
yeah, and they should. I mean, he says they asked him in interviews why he like does the Sonic movies and pretty much retired from everything else, and he kind of just said the money. So
Really? I feel like at
yeah,
his age, it's probably not really.
he
Oh.
said he's doing it for the money. I
How
don't
much
know.
money are they paying him now that he's doing this?
I don't know. I mean, probably big check for this past one because the other ones have made a lot of money.
Yeah,
But yeah, he kind of like as much as I love Jim Carrey, he's one of my favorite actors. His performance and the way that he plays his character sort of goes hand in hand with the reason why I'm not the biggest fan of these movies is because they're very, very childish, which obviously it's fine. They're made for kids. I understand that. I'm not asking for a Logan style Sonic movie, but there's just too much of that childish aspect that I can't fully get
yeah,
myself into the movie. I don't know if you agree with me in that
yeah.
regard, Joe.
No, I agree. I just, it's I don't know. I kind of, but we go into that knowing it, like you know what you're getting.
Yeah. A lot of the jokes are just
Very kid, yeah,
just make me cringe, but I understand it's for children. So, I don't know. It's not really a fair criticism, but it still impacts like how much I
of
enjoy the
enjoy
movie,
it, yeah. But no,
you
that's
know?
fair because there's kid movies that have good humor too.
Yeah. Another thing I'll
But
say though about this movie is that they definitely focused a lot more on the Sonic characters rather than the human characters. The human characters are really barely in it
yeah,
besides Robotnik, but he's
he's
so
he's one of
animated.
the
He's
he's basically like
basically
one, yeah,
yeah. But which that was one of my complaints about the second movie. They have this whole subplot where the I forget the girl's name, but Sonic's mom, I guess, her sister's getting married. There's like this whole subplot with their marriage and like what's going on with the relationships with the human characters, and I was just like, I just don't give a fuck. Like, show
yeah.
me Sonic running fast,
And if you don't
and
care, the 10-year-old definitely doesn't care.
yeah, and I really, really like the third act of this movie though. I thought it was really
Yeah,
cool, and if
them
I
in
was a
space.
kid, I would have fucking loved it.
Yeah,
Just seeing, Sonic get he went supersonic, and then we got Super Shadow. I
yeah. I
guess
don't
that's
know.
what you
I'm not too familiar with the Sonic lore and like how all that works, but it was kind of like the rule of cool. Like I didn't really care.
yeah, doesn't really matter. There's a really cool shot of Sonic and Shadow sitting on the moon, like, looking over Earth.
Yeah.
Thought that was really cool.
Oh yeah, the music was really good. I like all the kind of rock. I didn't know a lot of the Sonic music from the games is actually really good too. It's all like kind of rock stuff. But when I
Yeah,
went,
but
I was just wanted to mention this too. So I actually I didn't when I first went like the night of I went to go see Mufasa because the Sonic was sold out. So but when I went, people were like dressed up and like there was everyone was buying. It was almost kids, but like buying like shirts and all the popcorn buckets and stuff. It kind of reminded me of like a Marvel kind of Avengers movie. The amount of people there, which is kind of crazy to say for a Sonic movie. I wasn't familiar with like how big the fandom is.
yeah, I mean, we never played Sonic as kids
No.
because it was a Sega thing. I know eventually Sonic and Mario obviously have crossed over, and
But I
he's in
remember playing like the
Smash,
Olympic
but
game. Like
yeah,
remember they
they
had
had
that
that
like Olympic
yeah,
game? That was
yeah,
like the only really.
but yeah, I think if this franchise was a thing when we were kids, we definitely would have been invested in it.
Yeah. 100%.
So, do you
But
have a favorite character in the movie?
probably Shadow. I mean Shadow's obviously the coolest. I thought honestly Knuckles' humor was really good too. Out of all the characters, I thought that was the one that I enjoyed the humor the most. Like it felt I don't know, not
Yeah,
as
Idris
childish, I
Elba's
guess.
actually pretty good
Good.
cast.
Do you ever see the videos of him when he voice acts, he like puts on the gloves?
Yeah,
It's actually mad funny.
yeah, it is very funny. But you could tell everyone's fully bought into their
Yeah,
characters,
it's
which
fun. Like,
that's always a good thing, you know?
yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's in terms of like the Sonic lore, they delve a little further, and there's some post-credit scenes where you stayed for both, Joe, right? Or
No,
no?
I only see for the first one.
So the first post-credit scene, there's a new character introduced. I think. Do you know her name, Joe, or no?
No, I know she's like pink. That's
Let
about
me
it.
look it up. So there's two new characters introduced. Let's see. One of them is the Metal Sonic, which we had heard rumors of on Twitter. People are saying, "Oh, Metal Sonic makes sense for the next movie." I don't know what Metal Sonic is, but it seems like some sort of robot that I guess Robotnik
His
made, but
his Mecha
it's
Godzilla.
yeah, but it seems like Robotnik dies at the end of this, so I don't really know. But oh yeah, here we go. Amy Rose. That's the pink one. She pulls up. She had like a mallet and
Yeah.
she kills the fucking robots. Let's see who do you think's gonna voice her?
Um.
Anya
Actually, I
Taylor Joy.
saw. I wanted Ayo Edebari to voice her. She was
Mm,
just Anxiety in Inside Out too.
maybe. I feel like she kind of has like I don't even I don't know. I feel like AO's voice wouldn't match.
I mean, I to be fair, I have no idea what the character's supposed to sound like. I
I'm
just like.
envisioning like a high pitched kind of like a
No, wait. What is? No, she's not Anxiety in Inside Out. What is she? Maya
she's
Hawke
Envy.
is
Envy.
Envy. Envy. She's Envy.
But yeah, anyways, I kind of like this idea of these new Sonic characters getting introduced with each movie,
Yeah. I don't
and
really
they'll
know
eventually be
how
a big
how more
roster. But
like how many people, how many like hedgehogs there are and stuff like that.
I'm looking right now. Silver Sonic, Battyrella, Chibi.
What are the other villains?
Um, I don't really know. I know the crocodile guy. There's a crocodile. I'm looking it
Th-
up right now. Let's see. Eggman. Who the fuck is this guy? Uh, any Sonic fans? Oh, there's a Mecha Knuckles.
Deadass.
Yeah,
That's pretty sick.
that's pretty sick. They got to get him in there. Any Sonic fans? Let us know who you guys want to see in the next movie.
Yeah.
Top 10 favorite Sonic characters. What the fuck? All right. Sorry, we're getting off topic here. But yeah, Sonic 3 was fun. I don't want to say I was underwhelmed by it, but it was just like pretty much exactly what I expected. I don't know. It was fine. But
I didn't. Yeah, I thought it was like exactly what I thought it would be.
yeah, you want to get to ratings for it?
Yeah. So I give it a 3.5, 7 out of 10. I think it's, like Matt said, if I saw this movie 15 years ago, I probably would have thought it was amazing. It still is good, but there's only a certain like degree of enjoyment I could have out of it because obviously it is geared for kids. But overall, still really enjoyable.
Yeah, I also gave Sonic 3 a 3.5 stars. Like you said, Joe, it's just if we were kids when this came out, we'd have all the Sonic toys and
Yeah.
fucking like Sonic backpacks and stuff. But because we're adults now, I do find it a little childish. I understand it's supposed to be childish, but it still takes away my enjoyment a little bit when they're doing like fart jokes and stuff like that. It still is fun. There's cool action. I like the Sonic world where there's all these different characters. I like Shadow being introduced. Really like the third act. Um, but yeah, can't put it higher than a 3.5, which is still
Yeah.
solid. So
It's
all
crazy.
right.
I honestly, it's insane just how far from that one trailer. Like they could have just been like, nah, fuck what the people are saying. Like we're just gonna keep it the way it is and like not change anything. And there probably wouldn't be any more Sonic. Would you think it would have been this big if they kept that design?
No, because I think people would have hated on it purely for the design,
Design, right? Yeah.
even if the movie was good. But
I
or
can't
people would have
believe
not seen it probably for the design.
whose like idea was it to make that? Was it the director or was it like a studio thing?
What, to change the design?
Yeah.
I think it was a studio.
I feel like that's like one of
They
the
delayed the
most.
movie by like
Yeah,
6 months, I think.
I know. Like I feel like that's one of the most because usually they don't really take input from like I
I
don't
know, but it
know
was good that this
fans.
happened because
No,
maybe
yeah,
other
it was really
studios
good.
will listen.
Yeah, but I feel like that's the first time something like that's ever happened.
But yeah, that's an example of not having pride and saying, "Okay, we'll admit it, we messed up. Let's
Yeah.
change it," instead of having too much pride and saying, "No, our design does look good," you know?
And this is kind of
But
like Paramount's little cash cow because they don't take like that much to make, and they
yeah.
do usually well. It's not like
Mhm.
Mission Impossible to spend like $400 million on it,
Yeah. Last one
but
apparently lost the money.
yeah, this one's gonna lose money too.
Yeah.
But
But
anyway,
alright,
what
yeah,
was your
let's
rating? Did you give it? Rating?
yeah, I gave it.
I'm sorry.
Alright, we can move on to the next film. I'll read this synopsis
No, you read
'cause
it.
oh, wait, did I read Sonic?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, you go ahead
we're doing
for
the
this one.
Brutalist, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, me and Matt actually got to see the Brutalist in the IMAX in Lincoln Center in New York City, which is probably the biggest screen I've ever seen in my life.
I think yeah, I'm pretty
Uh,
sure it's the biggest IMAX screen, at least in North America. It might be in the world.
it was literally like, yeah, it was insane. But anyway, fleeing from a post-war Europe in 1947, a visionary architect and his wife settle in Pennsylvania, where a wealthy and mysterious client changes their lives forever. Um, so it's all right. There's a lot to talk about with this movie. One, it's the biggest thing people talk about is probably the length. It's 3 hours and 40 minutes, I believe,
Yeah, I think it's 3 hour 35,
something like that. Yeah,
but with a 15
with a
minute
15-minute
intermission.
intermission. But overall, the movie honestly is very, very well made. It's really the cast does a phenomenal job in all the roles. Everyone is like at the top. Honestly, this is probably career best from all at the top three performers in my opinion. I don't know if you agree, but
It's arguable. I mean, Adrian Brody's had like a really
yeah,
really
the
great career, so it's hard to say
yeah,
for him. Guy Pearce, I think definitely.
and Felicity
But
Jones.
yeah, Felicity Jones also.
I
Uh,
actually I thought the intermission was really really good idea because I don't know how much I would have like if this movie we had to sit through the whole thing in one sitting. I feel like I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. I liked having that little refresher like kind of break. Also
uh,
that the biggest thing also people talked about was the budget. The movie was made for less than $10 million. You said right?
yeah, they say it's anywhere from 6 to 10 million.
And there's a lot of shots in this that I see where people say like it gets the comparisons to Oppenheimer. Because there's a lot of kind of like big epic shots
Yeah, it
in this
feels
movie.
grand.
It
It feels
feels very
epic.
grand. The score is very like it feels almost like an event movie, which is kind of crazy about what the story is.
Yeah, it was similar to Oppenheimer in ways. It was similar to Megalopolis in ways.
Yeah,
One was made for 100 million. One was made for probably
200
close to
million.
250 million. And this was made for 6 to 10 million. I can't even wrap my head around that. But apparently people are saying this is going to expose the studio system because they waste so much money on dinners and luxury trailers for the talent, and that's where all the budget goes. And honestly, it's kind of believable now because you see how well made this was and how
Yeah,
great it looks for
I
such a
mean,
small budget.
yeah, I agree with that to an extent. But yeah, like the what they were able to do with the budget that they had is unbelievable.
Yeah, like
Um,
think about Joker 2.
yeah, what was that? That was like
Joaquin got paid 20 million himself,
yeah, this
double
movie
the entire
alone.
budget of this movie.
That's crazy, dude.
Which I'm not faulting him, get your
No, yeah,
money,
get your bag. I'm not. Yeah,
but just to think about that is crazy. And I hope the awards season shows this love.
yeah,
We'll see.
yeah. Um, I feel like the story is like such a long. Like it starts what with Adrian Brody's character. I think his name is Lasso, right?
Hold on.
Lazo. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I'm forgetting. Laszlo, yeah, Laszlo.
Laszlo, who's like an architect in Hungary, right?
I think Hungary.
And he flees Europe after World War II and comes to America, and he lives with his cousin who sells furniture.
He's Jewish. He's
He's
Jewish, by the way.
Jewish. Um, and it just, in the beginning, he's just kind of like, just works, kind of does his own thing. He honestly, the character reminds me, like, the way he acted, and the way he spoke reminded me a lot of our Nono. I don't know if you agree. The
Honestly, I didn't
mannerisms,
think about that, but I can see it.
like
Also an immigrant,
first
you know.
generation immigrant.
Yeah.
I honestly his performance really reminded me of Nono a lot. That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah,
The way he
that's interesting.
spoke, his
Yeah.
English. I don't know. But and I'm trying to remember what happens after he works at his cousin's furniture place.
Yeah, he ends up getting a job to reconstruct this really
Oh, okay, that was it.
wealthy person's library. So he does the job. The son of the wealthy guy asks Laszlo and his cousin to do the job. They do it, and then the Guy Pearce, who plays the actual wealthy guy, comes back, finds his library in complete disarray from what it originally looked like. Basically, bugs out on Laszlo and is like, "Get the fuck out of here! Like, who told you you can touch my library? Whatever." Eventually, they end up using the design of the library in like a magazine for wealthy people, and then he comes back to apologize, and he hires Laszlo to build this super grand sort of community center for the town because he likes his vision that much. And then it sort of goes from there. That
Yeah,
becomes pretty much the main purpose of the story is like the construction and design of this mega center, I
it's like a
guess.
church. It's like a mega church,
Yeah, it's like a church. There's uh, a library in it,
like a basketball court or
basketball court.
something.
Um, but yeah, I really liked Adrian Brody's character in this movie because he's an architect. I'm an engineer in real life, aside from podcaster. So I was able to relate in some ways. I liked watching him sort of go through the design process and just little things he talked about, stuff that I see at work. It was just interesting to me in some
Yeah,
ways. Um, but
yeah.
yeah, it pretty much just follows his journey in constructing it, all the challenges he faces, and at points they run out of budget, so he takes money out of his own cut
Yeah.
to because he just wants to see this get built. You see, he has this passion about architecture,
I
and
feel like
there's
they
this
also
interesting point. Sorry, one more thing, but
no,
there
you're
is this
good.
interesting point about how he never kind of told anyone that he was this famous architect. And why is that? Is it because I guess he was embarrassed of where he came from. He didn't wanna say he was from Hungary. Was that it, Joe, you think?
Yeah, I think yeah, because it's like they were. I don't know why. It's just because I think he's an immigrant and like the people would know he's from there. But also like when he speaks, he sounds like he has an accent. So it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not
There was an interesting discussion though, because he's Jewish about it was about kind of like the different types of Jewish people.
Jewish people, yeah.
Like
Because there were
the
like when he goes to sit down for dinner at this guy's house, there's other Jewish people there, but they're just from different parts of Europe, and they look different than him, but they're still the
yeah,
same religion.
they're more like traditional what you would think, like very pale skin, um, I guess lack of facial hair. He's kinda like a darker
There's like
skinned, like
there's a
hairier
term
guy. I
for
don't
it. There's two different type. I forgot the term.
Yeah, I wanna make sure
Uh,
I'm being politically correct here,
no,
but
because like it's like where they descend from in the world. Um,
yeah, but it was interesting because it's something that you don't think about of sort of, after even after the Holocaust happens when the Jewish people were, obviously, like, in America, they were never seen as, as they
what?
were in, like, Germany and shit. But
No, not to that extent. Obviously not.
even after that, there's still sort of this prejudice against, like, the darker complexion Jewish people.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. It's something that I never really thought about, I guess.
I forgot there's a term for like this, whatever that is, because there's like Jewish people from certain parts of Europe where like everybody's paler, like Germany and Poland, like those areas. And there's also Jewish people that come from more like Eastern Southern Europe, like that part.
Mhm.
And they just look differently, but they like it's the same religion, but because they look different, they discriminate against each other.
Yeah.
Just,
No, I found that very interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's that line when he's like so at one eventually what happens? We'll continue. He gets his wife and his daughter come to America from Hungary, and at one point when his daughter gets older, she decides she's gonna move to Israel. And what does he say? What's the one like? He's talking about how like she's like, oh, like like this is where we belong, and he was like, I forgot what the line is
Is it
when
when
they're
they're in the car?
no, when they're at the kitchen table, and she tells them like, oh, I'm gonna move to Israel.
Oh,
Um,
she says she wants to go home or something, and she's like, "This is your home," or something like that, or was
some
that it? Or
no,
no?
but it was like something with, does that make me less Jewish because I live here? I
Yeah.
forgot what the line is.
She's basically saying that she wanted to fulfill her religious obligation and
Oh no,
go
she said she
back,
wanted to be with her people. She wants to be
and
with her people, and Adrian Brody's character says, "Does it make us less Jewish that we are here?"
yeah,
Saying that they live in America. Like, does that make him less Jewish than he lived in Israel?
yeah, that was a good line.
Yeah, but
Um, yeah, it's a lot to
this
unpack
movie
with
this
this
movie
movie.
dives into a lot of deep, like, I don't know, not like just not even religion really. It's just about like society mostly. I feel like.
Yeah, it's just like a grand epic journey of this guy's life after World War II.
Yeah,
Um, I really, really liked the first half up until that intermission.
yeah.
I loved pretty
Right
much
before they
everything.
start building, it's like the peak of it.
Yeah, but it does lose me a little bit in the second half. Now um there is one particular subplot that I guess, first of all, spoilers, and I guess just a trigger warning. If you don't want to hear anything about sexual assault or anything, you could skip this. But there's a part where this rich guy basically, like, he waits for Laszlo when they're out. He gets really drunk and then he gets high by shooting up. And then the rich guy just like rapes him out of nowhere. He pulls his pants down and just, whatever, you can figure it out. But it just was so out of nowhere, and it's never really explained like why he did it. There's nothing that led
So
up to that happening. I guess it was like a control thing to show that he has the power over him, but
I always I don't know. Me and Matt were talking about this after, but I picked up. I thought that he kind of, I don't know if he was gay, but he was definitely like trying to flirt with Laszlo multiple times in the movie. That's what I thought, at least. Like, I didn't think he was gonna go and rape him, but like I had like a feeling that he had was harboring some type of feeling or some attraction to him.
I
That's
don't
like, I don't know.
I didn't
That's
pick
just
up on
what.
that. I didn't pick up on that. I don't
Yeah.
think that's the case, honestly. Because
No,
while he's
I'm
doing
not
it,
saying. I'm not.
he's what does he say? He's like, "Oh, you have to
He
know
calls
your
him pretty
place,"
boy. You
or
think like
or
because you're pretty, you can something like that.
I thought he was kinda putting him down the whole time, saying basically like, "I'm better than you."
No,
I
yeah, yeah, he was. I mean, he was literally
So,
raping him.
yeah, and the thing is that I don't think that needed to be in the movie, and if it was, okay, but they kinda turn it into this big thing that kinda ends up being what the climax of the movie is about, because basically Laszlo's wife confronts, Guy Pearce's character and is in front of his family. He's like, "Oh, your father's a rapist," and all this stuff, and then she ends up getting kicked out of the house, and that's that, you know? That's kinda like
Yeah,
how their relationship ends.
I think it's implied that the guy kills himself because he kind of just goes missing.
Yeah, he disappears at the end of the movie. That's how the movie ends, right? Him
Yeah,
disappearing?
and then they
Yeah,
have the
exactly.
epilogue.
Yeah, that epilogue was interesting.
It was like his
Um,
daughter in the future in Venice. Like, I actually really liked. They had a little kind of 5 minute like sequence of them shooting around Venice that I thought was really cool. But it's like his daughter, and she's at some like gala talking about her father's work and stuff like that. Is
yeah, I thought
he?
that was cool. He's in it. He's, like,
He's in
older,
it. He's like
remember?
older. Yeah.
Yeah. He's in a wheelchair, and I don't know how he's
Um,
alive after the drugs, but what
yeah.
did the wife have? They mentioned it.
Her I think her osteoporosis was really bad. Or like,
That's why she couldn't walk?
something from like the camps, like she was starved too much or something. I forgot what they said.
Yeah. I think it was a great movie though,
Yeah,
overall.
it was fantastic. Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Did you have a
Um,
favorite scene?
mm, trying to think because there's a lot of things that I
I
like.
could go because
Yeah, you
I'm
go. I want
thinking
to
of
see
one.
what you say.
I really like the opening scene where he's on the boat coming
Oh,
back, and it's
yeah,
like
it's
the
all like
handheld
kind of
camera, and
the
then
hustle bustle, people bumping into him and stuff
but
like
when
that.
they go out of the boat, and it's sort of like the camera's upside down, and you see the Statue of Liberty come into frame upside down. Just a
Yeah,
really cool and unique
cool
shot,
shot,
and
man.
they use that for the trailer.
And the
I mean,
music swelling.
they use that for the poster. I'm sorry.
Also, yeah,
Yeah, and that score was fantastic.
fantastic. Yeah,
I
no, the
love the
score's really
score.
good.
I this whole year I was like, nothing's beating Challengers for best score, but this has a chance to
Yeah,
surpass it for me.
it's really good.
It was yeah, really really good, really powerful. Um, but yeah, I love that opening scene.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Um, I mean, I liked a lot of the building scenes, like when they were building the church and they had like the time lapse and like
Mm,
you know what I'm talking about?
yeah, yeah. Um, all
Or
right.
even then when they open the library for the first time and like it shows kind of all the way the light opens up with all the shades.
Yeah, it was interesting too. They mentioned something about how they keep the shades closed because the light will hit the books and it'll kind of like ruin them from
Yeah,
they'll get
it'll
sun
age them.
bleached.
Yeah.
So the way that he designed the library was he had cabinets that they opened towards the window so that even if they were open, the cabinet doors would block the sunlight from hitting the books. So I thought that was really cool. Just how it shows like kind of how genius this guy is.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got much else to say here. You wanna?
No, I mean, what was your favorite character?
It's got to be Laszlo.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
there's an argument to be made for Guy Pearce's character. Let me get his name really quick. I always do this. His name is Harrison Lee Van Buren. What do they call the movie? I forget. They call him
Mr.
Lee,
They
don't
call
they?
him Mr. Van Buren.
Maybe. I thought he calls him Lee. But anyways, um, yeah, there's an argument to be had for him for sure. But yeah, really,
Yeah,
really great performances. So we'll see how this does at the Oscars. So it's gonna be one of those that not a lot of people have got out to see because
yeah, it
I
just
feel
hasn't
like
been out.
like equivalent for last year would maybe be like Killers of the Flower Moon because that was also 3 hours and 26.
No, but at
But
least people could have watched that on
yeah,
Apple
that has
TV.
Scorsese's name attached to it, so more people are gonna be willing to go watch it.
No, but not even
I
that, dude. This doesn't even have like a nationwide release. It's only released in New York and LA.
I mean, I'm sure it'll come to streaming at some point,
Yeah.
but
But even like, wasn't Flower Moon like? Couldn't you watch that on Apple on the same day?
I don't think so. I think it might have been a little bit after. I don't think so. But anyways, I guess you want to get to ratings.
Yeah.
You can go
Um.
first.
So I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. 9 out of 10. I mean, this movie it is very very well made. There's a lot I really enjoy about it. I do think it dips off a little bit in the second half, but really like a really grand epic story just about like an immigrant's life. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
You want to get to your rating?
I'm in the same boat as you. I gave it 4.5 star, 9 out of 10. Very close to a 5 star. I think that first half would have
Yeah.
been a 5 star if it kept up on that pace, but I just think that did lose me a little in the second half, but multiple Oscar-worthy performances in this film. Just completely epic and grand, great score, very memorable scenes, memorable performances, and just the behind the scenes of how this was made for less than 10 million is just insane to me. I
Yeah.
genuinely can't wrap my head around it. We've never seen something like this before.
No.
So hopefully it changes Hollywood for the better, but we'll see.
Let's see. Um,
Um,
I'm actually real.
yeah.
I know I've mentioned to you a couple times, but he already announced his next movie is going to be another immigration story about
It's like,
a from
A
China to
Western, right?
California, but it's a horror Western themed. And he said it takes inspiration from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, that sounds
So,
awesome.
yeah, I'm very, very interested in what that's going to be. But who
All
knows
right.
when that'll come out, though. It'll probably be a while.
Yeah, probably a while.
Yeah.
But let's move on now
Yeah.
to some movie news. I guess we got a couple of sort of things, some
You don't
big
want
things.
you don't want to talk about Mufasa?
I didn't see Mufasa. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on it? You
No.
want to just?
I mean, we could. No, not really. It's just it should have been animated. That's like the biggest thing you could take away from the movie.
All right. I mean, yeah, I feel like I didn't even have to see it to
Yeah,
figure that, you know.
yeah.
So
You can tell by looking at the poster.
yeah. Um. All right. So first bit of news. This is gonna change the landscape of film forever. This one. Jeremy Allen White has been cast as Rotta the Hutt in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie.
Wait, low key, bro. I thought that news was from last week. I was looking at that.
No. So
Okay. Oh, we actually. I don't know why. Never mind. We have a. Oh, there was a. Okay, we have a lot of stuff. Never mind.
yeah, we have a decent bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jeremy Allen White, who's like he was white. He might be White Boy of the Year. He's up there.
Yeah.
They got him playing a Hutt in a Star Wars
Apparently, I
movie.
saw in the article they said apparently it's gonna be jacked. Like he's gonna be like
A
a
jacked
jacked
Hutt.
looking hut. Yeah.
I feel like I think he's appeared in other Star Wars media. I
He
think
has. He
maybe
has.
one
He's
of
appeared in
the
Clone Wars.
yeah, and he's
As
just
a
like
baby. He's like a baby in it.
yeah, he's a little blob.
But
I
that's
don't know how they're gonna approach it
canonically Jeremy Allen White.
because think about how Jabba the Hutt is voiced in the original.
They're gonna just give him like honestly, I feel like I would want
'Cause
them to make him sound like very weird,
bro,
but
there's
they're
no way it's
probably
just gonna be a little blob with Jeremy Allen White's voice. He's gonna
no.
do
I think he's
something
gonna be. I think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna be a little blob. I think he's gonna be like fully grown at this point.
like a jacked slug.
Yeah, like I think he's gonna be like Jabba the Hutt size, but like jacked.
That would be sick.
That's the thing. I
But
mean,
we gotta say,
I've
I'm curious about the voice. I really am. I feel
yeah
like
yeah.
this kind of just seems like stunt casting to me, but we'll see.
Does he do voice work?
I've never heard of him doing voice work,
Yeah, I
but
don't know. I mean, listen,
he's also
man.
relatively new to like the movie scene. I mean, he's been in
Yeah,
Shameless for
he was in
years,
Shameless. Yeah,
but in terms of films, I can only think of, fucking Iron Claw.
Pine
He
Claw.
was in this movie Fingernails that I saw. Like,
I'm looking at his thing.
what else has he been in? There's
Not
definitely more.
much. Oh, he was in The Rental. I didn't even know that. Yeah, Fingernails. He's gonna be in Mandalorian and Grogu, and he's gonna be in the Bruce Springsteen biopic.
Yeah, that'll be his big.
But
That'll be
low-key,
his
that's probably like his.
mainstream break.
That's like yeah, his big mainstream thing because that's his first thing. He's a lead. All the other stuff, he's not the lead.
Yeah, and music biopic. He's coming for that Oscar.
Oh yeah.
But
Like I don't know. We'll talk about. I mean, we'll get to that movie eventually.
yeah,
But
but
but yeah. Oh
all right.
well.
Next up, another bit of casting. So we're talking about Avengers Doomsday. We got Chris Evans confirmed to be rejoining the cast in an undisclosed role.
They also
Probably,
confirmed Scarlett
probably,
Johansson's coming back
yeah.
too.
ScarJo's gonna come back as well, but that one I don't think was reported in the trades. Was it?
Oh
I saw.
no. Oh, I
I
thought it
don't think
was.
so.
Oh.
I think that was like insiders. This was in. Let me see the source. Hold on. This had an
This
actual
went
source.
yeah, this no, I remember there was like an article about this.
Yeah,
The rap. It was a rap.
the rap. Yeah. So they don't know who he's gonna play. If I had to guess, it wouldn't be Captain America because I don't think you could bring back RDJ as a different character and then bring back Chris Evans as Cap. I feel like he'll also play a different character. And since ScarJo's coming back too, she'll play a different character. Maybe I feel like a villainous Avengers would be a cool way
Probably what they're doing.
to bring them back because it's not just saying, "Oh, these characters are survived," or "Oh, it's them from a different universe." That's kind of lame. It's boring. Seeing them back as alternate versions could be interesting,
Yeah.
and it could also lead to different sort of dynamics with, our Avengers team, like Anthony Mackie having to fight an evil version of Chris Evans, or Tom Holland Spider-Man seeing an evil version of RDJ.
Yeah.
Shit like that could be interesting. Same thing with like ScarJo if she's evil, and then like Florence Pugh fights her, or Jeremy Renner, something like that. We'll see. I mean, I know we talked about this Avengers movie recently, and you said you're Not
Yeah,
that
I'm not
excited for
really.
it, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm gonna see it. I love superheroes. It's just like I don't know the hype we had for like the other Avengers. Like this, I don't know if this feels like a Age of Ultron in a way, where like we were kind of like people were excited for it, but it's just kind of like the first Avengers everyone was excited for because like we never saw that, and obviously 3 and 4 were like kind of grand, like epic. You know, they're trying. I feel like they're trying to. It's gonna be marketed as like in Endgame rather than just like a standalone Avengers movie. But I don't know, man. Like we have no idea what the story is gonna be about. They just changed the villain. Like I don't. I mean, we know it's Doom. I know. I'm sure they'll figure out how they're gonna do it, but I don't know. Like I'm not as attached to the characters as I am to the original Avengers. So like all those kind of I guess relationships and stuff in the movies, it's
That
not gonna be
I
the
agree with
same.
you. That I agree with you. I mean, there are some that will be
Like probably Doctor Strange and Thor are like the two. Spider Man is
Ant-Man.
not gonna. Man,
Oh, people that will die or people that
people like that I actually like that I've seen for a while. Like Doctor Strange has been in the MCU for like a while now.
yeah, the Hulk,
The Hulk,
Thor,
Thor,
Hawkeye, he's been around
Hawkeye.
for a while. I feel like Ant-Man though, I know you just said no. He's been around for a while.
Well, it's not. I don't think it's gonna be that people are gonna die. It's just they're gonna do the reboot. Like it's gonna be like a new MCU
Yeah. I'm excited
with.
though because like I don't know. Sorry, I just
I'm
lost my train
excited
of
for
thought.
a clean slate with like
The
an
reason
MCU where
why
like. I'm sorry.
no, no. Go ahead cuz I'm gathering my thoughts here.
Oh, I'm excited for like an MCU that they're gonna start and like Spider-Man exists, the X-Men exist, and the Avengers will probably exist. And it's like they could do whatever the fuck they want. There's no rights tied up with other things. You know what I mean? Like they could just do whatever storylines they want to do with the X-Men from the beginning. Because honestly, people forget the X-Men like carried Marvel for a long time. They're mad popular. It's just the movies have sucked for a while. Like I feel like when they start coming out again, a lot of people are gonna like them.
Yeah, people love the X-Men. Maybe not the movies. I mean, there's obviously some great ones, but there were some terrible ones.
Yeah.
Um, but the reason why this next Avengers movie I'm excited for is because if we look at the track record of Anthony and Joe Russo, they have the same writers from Infinity War and Endgame. They have Chris Evans, RDJ, Scarlett Johansson. When you take that talent team, that cast, Kevin Feige, Avengers movie, we got two of the best superhero films ever made, Infinity War and Endgame. So if you say, "Oh,
Yeah.
we're bringing all that back for another Avengers film," why are people like, "Oh, it's not going to be good. This scares
Because I
me."
just feel like
But
it's
we've
not.
seen them succeed before.
Yeah,
So
but
I don't
also the MCU was at like an all-time high when those movies happened. They had a lot of hype going into it, and the storylines made sense. I mean, to be fair, they could still kind of set it up. I'm sure within the next 2 years. I don't know how because like
Is that
Captain
a crazy
America.
meow? Is
Yeah,
Nami meowing?
now he's going nuts. Just woke up.
She's hungry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Now I lost my train of thought.
No, you're saying you don't know how they're going to set it up in the next 2 years?
Yeah, because like think of the movies releasing. We know Captain America 4 is probably gonna have nothing to do with the Avengers movies.
I disagree.
Maybe
I think he's going to
maybe
assemble the team.
they'll assemble it, but like, what is the reasoning for them assembling?
That's true.
You know,
I guess
because the
because if
government
Doom's the main
owns it.
villain, and it seems like he's gonna be from
That's what I'm
another
saying. Like at
universe,
least
how are they gonna set it up? Yeah, it's a
like in Infinity War, Thanos was behind the scenes for like multiple years, like pulling the strings. Like he was in a lot of he was teased in the first Avengers movie. It's so much like I don't want to say hype, but like build up to Thanos. And then with this, Doom is just gonna pull up, and they're just relying. Obviously, yeah, Doom is cool. He's an amazing character, but they haven't built up anything about him. Him and Reed Richards' relationship is gonna be basically non-existent. His whole thing is that he wants to be the like basically better than Reed Richards. He's like one of the biggest haters in all of comics. It just feels weird that like they're only gonna be interacting for like one movie before the Avengers movies.
yeah. I guess the fact that it's RDJ's face,
Like
kind
that's
of.
like yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what they're pulling on is the RDJ card, which I'm sure like. Well, I don't know. I wish like they didn't. They should have just waited to reveal that. Honestly, I'm gonna
Yeah,
let Nami up. Hold on a second.
yeah. I was gonna say I'll start discussing the next thing
Yeah.
until Joe silences our cat. but only temporarily. Okay, so next trailer we got 28 Years Later, directed by Danny Boyle and written by Alex Garland. It's coming out in June of 2025. This trailer looks awesome. It's one of the best trailers I've seen in a while. Apparently, this film was shot entirely on an iPhone, which is pretty crazy. I mean, I know they had these big ass lenses if you look at behind the scenes stuff. It's still interesting though, when you try to push the limits of technology and filmmaking.
I
But
thought it was one of the better trailers to come out in a while, honestly.
yeah, it looked really cool.
Yeah.
Um, and I've seen 28 Days Later. I haven't seen 28 Weeks Later, but I heard that one's not that good. This honestly looks better than 28 Days Later, in my opinion.
The
Uh,
cast looks way better too.
yeah. What's his face? Ralph Fiennes looks
Ralph Jack
crazy in it.
Jack's Ralph Fiennes running through like
Yeah,
a bone forest, whatever the hell it was.
yeah. Um, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, it looks really cool. Great cast, like you said. Just I don't know. Great trailer. See when we
Yeah.
see more of it. But
Um,
this next thing we could skip. We talked
yeah,
about
we
this
talked
already.
about it. You want me
But
to start the
yeah,
next
you
one?
could say the next
Yeah.
one.
So then we got a pretty big casting actually. Austin Butler was cast as the new Patrick Bateman in the Luca Guadagnino American Psycho movie. I saw people hating on it. I think this is fine. Like I think he'll be great. Like I don't see why this is a problem. I don't know if you agree.
I think he'll be great as well. I see people think, oh, they just grabbed the most popular name. But anyone who's watched Dune Part 2 and seen him as Freyd Rautha knows his range and knows that he can do this.
Yeah,
It's great this year in the Bike Riders as well. Just obviously
great
was a great
great
Elvis, but
Elvis. Yeah,
he's got the talent to do it. And if
yeah.
not him, who else? I know people are saying Jacob Elordi. I think that could have worked, but
I feel like it's too traditional. I like this pick that it's a little like, and he's not even bro. How many movies has he really been in?
he's
It's
been
only
in
really been like obviously he has like
Elvis, Dune,
Elvis,
and
Dune
Bike
2,
Riders.
and Bike Riders. I know he has other credits like when he was younger, but nothing really like
No,
notable.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
Um,
I like it, and I like Guadagnino. I think it also was announced that the people who scored Challengers are gonna do American Psycho 2.
yeah, Trent Reznor and Atticus
Yeah,
Ross.
which is pretty
So
exciting.
yeah, it's exciting. We'll see. And
Yeah.
I think this is probably going to start filming next year, right?
Apparently it's supposed to start after this Sergeant Rock movie is gonna film, but I don't know what because I'm assuming it can't be. I don't think it's gonna take long to write a script because it's based off a book. So how
Yeah,
I don't know,
we'll see.
but we'll see. Um, so next bit of news we got live action Tangled remake is in the works at Disney. Sure, whatever. Michael Gracie is the Greatest Showman is in talks to direct. Um, yeah, I mean, I never really, I don't know. I haven't watched Tangled. I know people were saying they want Florence Pugh to play the girl. Um, I don't
Rapunzel.
know Rapunzel, and then they want the girl who plays Agatha,
Oh, Catherine
get
Hahn.
her to play the villain because she's like basically just kind of looks like Agatha, the villain.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
excited for this though. I
yeah, I'm
like
sure it'll be
Tangled,
fine. I have to watch Tangled.
and
I
I
don't
think
really.
this director Michael Gracie. I like The Greatest Showman a lot, and
Yeah, Greatest Showman was good.
he did that movie Better Man that came out this year. We didn't get a chance to
Oh,
see it yet.
really?
That people are really praising, especially like the musical numbers in it,
Yeah,
and they're very stylized. It seems like.
I
So
like
I
that.
think he's a good director for this.
Looks.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll
We'll
see.
see. We already know. I have a feeling they're going to cast a non-white Rapunzel, and that's going to make everyone get really mad. But we'll see what
Really?
happens. I just have a
Honestly, the
feeling.
biggest thing with the Disney live action ones, I want like it should be singers because these are musicals,
I
and
think
I feel like
Sabrina Carpenter could do it.
yeah, that's a good that's one I've seen people say. I
She
saw
looks
like
like her. Yeah, she
yeah, she
looks like her.
does. Yeah, what was the other one I saw? Um, oh no, I saw it wasn't for her. It was for I saw Dua Lipa for like one of the Greek the woman in oh my god, what's that other musical with the Greek
Hercules.
Hercules? Yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you're right. They should get singers.
it should be singers. Like with the Little Mermaid, like Ariel was cast. She's a singer, like the woman who played Ariel.
Yeah,
She's like has a musical background. Look at Wicked that just came out. Ariana Grande is obviously a singer. Cynthia Erivo has a musical background.
yeah.
That I'm very like big on like it, especially with musicals. It should be singing. It's easier to
I
teach singers to act than actors to sing.
Yeah, 100%. I have a feeling it's gonna be Sabrina Carpenter. She also came from Disney. She was a Disney Channel girl
Oh, I didn't know that.
originally. Yeah, so
Oh, yeah, sure.
it will kind of be full circle, and she's obviously a very big name right now, so
Yeah.
we'll see if she wants to act. But Flynn Rider should
Honestly,
be Zachary
Ariana
Levi.
Grande wouldn't be another bad pick too.
Yeah, she could do it, but I don't know if I feel like she's not young enough though. I feel like
How young is she supposed to be?
I imagine her as a teen. I don't know if that's
No, I don't.
necessarily
I
true.
thought she was because the dude is like older. It looks like he's like
I know Zachary Levi voiced him, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, I'd love to come back," but like Disney definitely doesn't want him
no
back.
way. He's gonna campaign so hard to get it back.
Yeah. How old is
But
Rapunzel in Tangled? She's 18. Yeah.
damn, dude. Yeah, no,
I
he's
figured
definitely
she
not going
seems
back.
young. Yeah, I don't think that's why Ariana, I'm sure she would be fine, or Ariana. I'm sure she would be
Ariana, yeah,
fine. But Sabrina Carpenter, I think, would be a great pick for that.
that'd
I'm
be a
trying to
good
think
pick.
of any young musicians like that could do
Um,
it. Billie Eilish? No, she doesn't look
no,
like her really.
no.
But all
But
right,
yeah.
seems interesting.
Next bit of news. We got another DC movie officially uh like confirmed and greenlit, and will be shooting like in the next couple months. And it's a Clayface movie. What's interesting is that this was, I think, initially pitched like before Gunn was on board. Like this was, I remember hearing about this like a couple of years ago that Mike Flanagan had like was interested in doing a Clayface movie. I think he just pitched it to James Gunn, and they just liked the idea, and they're just rolling with it. It's going to be a $40 million budget. It's inspired by The Fly, and they're looking for a director right now. I'm honestly really excited. It's all has a lot of like Flanagan's a great horror writer and director, so I'm excited that he's attached to it. It's and also it seems like they're gonna lean into the body horror with The Fly as being a direct comparison to it. So I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. Horror
Um,
Clayface.
horror Clayface, yeah.
One thing though
Um,
I do want to say is that the DCU is already in like a weird spot in my opinion. Like, what was the point of James Gunn coming out and saying, "Oh, this is the gods and monsters slate," and announcing, "Oh, this movie, then this movie, this movie." Then it's like, "Oh yeah, here's a Clayface movie. Oh yeah, here's a Sergeant Rock movie." What was the point of doing that slate if there's just all these other
I
random
feel like they
movies?
wanted to probably get the big name stuff announced, like Superman, Batman, like all their Lantern show. They said that wasn't everything. Like when what was it at Fandom or whatever? No, they didn't have
Y-
Fandom, but
It was just like
whatever
a
their
separate
like
thing, yeah.
separate thing. He said it wasn't everything that they were gonna do, but like those were kind of the main, I guess, kind of 100% gonna happen.
Yeah, I guess.
Um,
And also this whole thing with the Batman that now Clayface is supposed to come out in September of 26. Then the Batman I think is going to come out in October of 26, which is like two Batman related movies that are not connected releasing within a month of each other. And the Batman 2 is supposed to have Clayface as a villain.
that's
Just
not confirmed though. I don't think
yes,
that's.
that's not confirmed, so that's not a fair criticism of me, but I feel like signs point to it.
I mean, I
It's
don't
just
honestly. I
it's
don't think it's
strange.
gonna. I don't think it's gonna hurt. Like the people that are gonna see Clayface are gonna see the Batman movie.
It's
It's
just
not like.
confusing. It's confusing to the general audience.
Yeah,
And to us we understand, but even to me it's a little bit confusing. Like what the fuck are we doing here?
I
But
don't think it's that confusing, honestly. One's in another universe, one isn't. That's it.
like they say, "Oh, there's a Clayface movie's happening. Matt Reeves is producing it." Matt Reeves
Yeah,
of the Reeves verse, who has
he's
his
still
own
a
universe.
producer.
It's just
James
weird.
Gunn is a
Why he's
producer on the
working on
Batman.
two different Batman universes? It doesn't
He's just he's a producer on the DCU. He's a I don't know. He's an executive. It is a Batman character. He was an executive producer on the Cape Crusader. It's like not like, oh, why is he doing another Batman?
it's live action though. It's different.
Still,
Like,
but it's
it's
not
just
even
weird to
he.
me.
I
It's
don't
very
know.
strange to me. I have a feeling they're gonna connect the Reeves verse to
Yeah, so we'll
the
talk about that
DCU.
too in a little bit. We're gonna
We
there's
we
another
might as well just talk
yeah,
about it
man. So
now,
there's another
honestly.
rumor going around that apparently James Gunn wants the Reeves verse to be in the DCU. And Robert Pattinson's on board, but Matt Reeves isn't on board. So I don't like this. I would rather the world stay separate. Let Reeves do his thing, leave him alone, and let them handle their own stuff. And I feel like the Reeves verse, it's only gonna be they're doing the Batman part two. He said he's only gonna do a trilogy. That's it. Like they're not gonna do anything else after that. So just let him do his thing. You know,
I think they should just combine them at this point.
I don't know. I don't like the obviously it. I don't know. I
And
feel like
especially
it.
if James Gunn is like, "Oh, each director is gonna have their own vision and it's not gonna matter." Why can't the Batman shit just be dark and, like, still be connected?
No, I don't think that's the problem. I just I don't know. I don't think Reeves is gonna want to take on a lot of those like fantastical shit. You know?
He's producing Clayface, though.
Yeah, but he's not directing.
Still, he's involved with it. He has say in it.
I mean, he also did he directed all the Planet of the Apes. It's like not that he can't do like kind of sci-fi shit. I just would prefer it to be separate.
I don't know.
That's just me.
This was a theory that I saw someone talking about where, um, the end of I think I mentioned this to you, the end of Creature Commandos, how this series is gonna end is they bring Clayface to Arkham, and then when you get to Arkham, you're gonna see, like, Paul Dano's Riddler just in animated form and maybe,
Hmm.
like, Barry Keoghan's Joker, and it's gonna basically reveal that,
I
you
feel like
know, this is in the Batman universe.
that doesn't
Then
really
when
make sense because that like Clayface isn't he's in like one scene in the entire and he doesn't get captured. I mean,
really?
two
Yeah,
yeah, like
I
he's
haven't
only
seen
in it.
Creature Commandos, so
He's on like so I'm on episode 6. Like he's in that. He's like there, I'm not gonna say why he's there, but it's actually a really cool fight scene with him, Frank Rollo Sr. and Frankenstein. But yeah, I don't know. I don't because it's like he's just in it for like he has nothing to do with the series. He just happens to be in it in this scene. More like a cameo than anything.
yeah, I don't know.
Are you ever
But I
gonna
have a
watch Creature Commandos?
yeah, I will. I tried to watch, like, recently, but our Max isn't
Yeah.
working.
I got renewed for season 2, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Our first
Since we're talking about DC, though, you wanna just talk about the Superman trailer?
Yeah, yeah. That's probably the biggest thing to come out of this weekend was the Superman trailer. Um I think me and Matt both liked it. There's obviously some things that, wasn't perfect, but for the most part, generally looks really good. Crypto looks amazing. It looks like it's gonna be way more comic booky than any of the other Superman movies, which I'm very down for. I don't know there's some cool shots of like Superman like saving some kids and also finally for years, they finally have a superhero fighting a kaiju. I don't know how long it's been that there hasn't been like. I feel like that always happens in the comics and like animated stuff where like a superhero fights a kaiju. But that's never really
What?
happened in live action.
You haven't seen Shazam! Fury of the Gods?
That's like a dragon though. That doesn't really count. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like a bit,
Yeah, yeah.
as a
Yeah.
Godzilla fan, I've always wanted them to do something like that.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Crypto. I like the lightheartedness-ish of the world. It seems very
Yeah,
light.
and the
Um,
movie's still got like 7 months, 6 months of post production too.
Rachel Brosnahan looks great. Nicholas Hoult looks great.
Yeah,
I'm not sold on Cornsway yet. I was advocating for him to get the role. I think he was the right pick, but seeing him, it just I don't know. I'm not sold yet. I'll see when we see
to
more.
be fair, yes, he's only had one line in the trailer.
Yeah, but
He definitely. I'll say
Lois
this.
Lane
I
had no
definitely think.
lines, and Lex Luthor had no lines, and I'm still sold on them from seeing this.
Really?
So yeah, I don't know. I'm just not sold on him yet. I'll still give him a chance. I'm not gonna say the movie sucks or anything. I'm not gonna say restore the Snyderverse, but
I feel like his Clark looks a lot better.
yeah. Honestly, the suit too. I loved it at first, but I don't really like it in this. It doesn't
I
look
like
great
it.
in the
It looks
trailer.
more like the modern, not like modernized, but how he looks more in like the comics now in DC. Not now, like in terms of like the last year, but like recently, last like 20, 25 years.
Yeah. And
I do love the
I'm an
logo. I
yeah, I'm
like
an
the
M
Kingdom Come logo.
yeah, it looks cool. I'm an MCU lover. It's like when people say MCUifying a suit, I'm like, all right, people are just hating. But this, I really see it in the Superman suit. There's all these lines and like padding on it. If you look at the CW's Legends of Tomorrow, that Brandon Routh Kingdom Come
Dude,
suit,
yeah.
it's basically just fabric over him, and that's what it should be. Superman doesn't need armor.
Oh
He's
no, I
fucking
don't think it's
Superman.
armored. It's not
But
armored.
it's like textured, and it looks like he has shoulder pads and like patches of shit
Hold
on
on,
the
wait.
suit.
The
It
patches,
sh
yeah. I don't know about
it should
shoulder
just be
pads.
cloth. It should just be cloth.
But also, I think he's probably gonna get another suit at some point in the movie.
I hope so. Because also the other fucking I mean, I know people say, "Oh, it's on purpose," but the Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl suits look terrible too.
Well, dude, all those suits like they look the same. I don't know if
Yeah,
you
but
could tell. They're
I mean,
all
bro, they still
none of
look
them
bad.
look like they're comic suits. It's supposed to be. I think that the whole thing is that like they're kind of bought by. I think it's Stag Industries or the one or whatever. Like
Mhm.
they're kind of like there.
No, I understand that,
Yeah,
but it still looks bad. Whether it's on purpose or not, it doesn't look good.
yeah.
So, I'm sure they'll get new suits.
I think it's
What
gonna be good. I think it'll probably
I
make the
think it's
most
gonna be
money in
good
a way,
too.
and
I
it
do.
is. The trailer was apparently the. I mean, I don't know how true these things are, but apparently the trailer was the most watched like Warner Brothers trailer ever in the first 24 hours.
Maybe
I
I think it was most watched DC. I don't know about Warner
I saw
Brothers.
Warner Brothers too.
Either way, I mean, that
But
wouldn't surprise me.
yeah, and I mean, I feel like a lot of like kind of the norm. Like I work at a hospital, so like I work with a bunch of fucking NPCs most of the time. So for random people coming up to me and saying like, "Oh, did you see the Superman trailer?" Like so, for me, I was like, "Oh shit!" Like the like general public is like actually like kind of excited about this. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense. But
We'll see.
I was hating a little, but I think it looks good. I'm excited for the movie. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, just not fully sold on Corn Sweat yet. Well,
when do you think we're gonna get another trailer?
this was like a teaser, so I feel like we'll get a real trailer, maybe Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, yeah.
Yeah,
We still got a while, dude.
yeah. So,
But yeah,
all right. And last thing we could talk about, just really quick, because episode's getting a little long
yeah.
here. But
Well, we could speed
so,
around the other two things quick.
which ones? Oh
Well,
wait, yeah. Sorry, there's two things. Sorry.
well, the
You
Barbie
could
thing
talk.
isn't true.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fake.
Just ignore the barber thing. You could talk about the Nolan thing really quick. You
Yeah,
wanna?
so we finally got announced Nolan's next movie, and it's gonna be a take on Homer's The Odyssey. Homer Simpson, for those who aren't familiar. Yeah. So it's gonna be filmed in like a new IMAX thing. I mean, I know they always say that, but we'll see. But the
No.
cast is really exciting,
Do you
and
think Tom
the
Holland is
story.
playing Bart?
Yes, Tom Holland's gonna be Bart, and Matt Damon is Homer. And then I
That's
guess
it's
we'll
gonna be
figure out who
sick.
everyone else is gonna be playing. Did you see some of the people online like didn't know what the Odyssey was? Like I can
Yeah.
understand. Like I've never read the Odyssey. Like I understand, you know. But even when I heard I was like, oh, like you know, the one written by the ancient Greek dude. Like
I mean, I I don't know. I don't want to act high and mighty. Like I know what the
I've
Odyssey
never read
is.
it. I've never read it. But you could tell me you've never. If someone said, "Do you know what the Odyssey is?" You wouldn't be like, "Oh yeah, it's some book."
That like I said, I don't want to talk down on anyone or act like I'm insanely intelligent. But like, how is this the first time you've heard of the
Yeah,
Odyssey? It is one of the most famous pieces of fiction in history. I'm
yeah.
not saying
Open
that
the schools, man.
I'm not
Jesus
saying that
Christ.
everyone should have read it, but I've seen people on Twitter, like, Soups, like
Yeah,
the
bro.
content creator. I'm sure he's a great guy. He seems like a very nice
I'm
kid.
not. We're not going after people's character and shit. Like I'm
But
sure people have
when
read
this announced, he's like, "Yo," he posted like a screenshot of when he searched up the Odyssey on Wikipedia, and it was like a synopsis, and he was like, "Yo, this sounds crazy. Like you never heard of the Odyssey before?" I don't know. It's very strange.
Yeah,
You look at what some of these film Twitter people, how they react to certain things, and you're like, Okay.
Jesus, man, these guys going
Yeah.
to premieres and stuff.
Yeah. But
They don't even read the
it's
comics. You think they're gonna read the fucking Odyssey?
the
They barely know
Odyssey.
the comic characters.
Yeah. I'm very excited for this. I
Yeah.
actually I've read this in school, so
I've
I
never.
know.
I'm gonna read it now,
Yeah. Oh, what are you,
but
some kind of idiot? You never read this?
yeah, I've never read the Odyssey.
No, but
But
anything with Greek mythology, very cool. And
yeah,
I don't think we've seen Nolan do
do like a
anything this.
fantasy kind of. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why I'm really
this
interested.
because we've seen him do Batman, which obviously is fantastical in some ways. It's a superhero.
But this is straight like mythical. Like this isn't,
Yeah, he's
like
done science fiction.
there's
The
gods and like monsters and shit like that.
yeah, and
Gods and
Apu
monsters.
from Quickie Mart,
Like
and yeah,
and fucking I
and
don't even remember.
Krusty.
Krusty
Robert
the Clown.
Pattinson's playing Krusty. It's gonna be sick. Um,
But yeah.
Very
Um
exciting. I bet
yeah.
a bunch of studios are scrambling to get a movie booked on the same day.
We made a post about it, but that summer of 2026 is like insane.
Yeah, it's like week after week. There's
I
shit
know
coming
this
out.
year is good with excuse me. In July we have like Superman, Jurassic World, and Fantastic Four, but next year like that's like an 8-week gauntlet of just banger after banger.
Yeah, hold on. I'll actually read it because I might
Yeah.
be able to make some good TikTok content with this. Hold on a
Yeah,
second.
but would you say that you're a clickbaiting right now?
I might be clipbaiting at this point. All right,
I
so
know the
this
Daniel kicked it. That's like the first one, right?
the Daniels thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm not including that on here.
Yeah, why? Because
Let me
not
let me get a
everyone's
good
tell
like
me.
let me get a good TikTok voice going here or something. So did you hear about this 2026 run? This
Nah, I didn't
3-month
hear about it,
run
dude.
of films. Listen to this. This is from May 1st until July 24th. We have Avengers Doomsday, Untitled Steven Spielberg, The Mandalorian and Grogu, Masters of the Universe, Toy Story 5, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, Shrek 5, live action Moana, The Odyssey,
Jesus.
and then Spider-Man 4,
You
all within
breathe
3
during that? Holy
months.
shit.
Can you believe it? We're getting all this shit. Yeah, no, that's gonna be a great 3 months.
Yeah.
That hopefully that clip will go viral
Go
there
viral,
because
yeah.
of the
People are gonna go crazy for Untitled Spielberg film.
yeah, that was we'll see. Maybe I got to start talking like that more to get the
Get the
TikToks more
You ever see
traction.
that like I'm not on TikTok anymore, but you ever see that there's those trend like those two podcasters and they just talk about like the most like they go back and forth and they ask each other like questions, but
The escape pod?
maybe that's it. I don't know.
Is it the one I actually like them? The guy who always wears the Spider-Man hoodie?
No. It's two people.
Yeah, it's two. One of them is like wears the hat. They're comic book people.
No, they're not it's not a comic book person. It's just like regular. He's
I
not
don't
like
know.
yeah,
I'm sure
whatever.
I've seen it, but whatever.
The other little thing we got was Evil Dead Rises. Lee Cronin is writing and directing a new The Mummy film. Was it James Wan's Atomic Monster producing studio in Blumhouse.
The Dark
Um,
Universe lives.
Dark Universe lives. The children yearn for the Dark Universe. We're getting Wolfman and the Mummy next year. We had Invisible Man. All we need is Dracula and Frank. And we're getting Frankenstein next year too. Actually,
Yeah. I mean, we're
dude,
having Nosferatu came out like
they're like gonna
yesterday.
come. They're gonna form like their own Avengers.
Yeah, that's exactly. That is the Dark
Dark
Universe.
Universe. But
They
yeah, I'm
just
sure
need a
this will be interesting.
protagonist to kill them.
Do
Is
you
it
think
gonna
this
be
is
The
gonna
Rock?
be? Wait, what did you hold on? Time out. What did you say?
The Rock to kill them? They need
Oh,
someone.
they're gonna bring back the Scorpion King. He's gonna be like the Nick Fury of the Dark
Yeah,
Universe.
he's gonna be like, I'm putting together a team, and then the Mummy walks in, Wolfman walks in. It's gonna be
Well,
awesome.
yeah. Do you think this is gonna
Nosferatu.
be more a straight up horror, or they're gonna lean a little bit into like the kind of adventure of the originals? Not the originals, but like the
That's
kind
a
of
good question. I don't really know. I feel like it's gonna go more traditional horror.
traditional horror. Yeah.
I don't
I
think it's
like when
gonna
they do
be.
the adventure though. Honestly, I fuck with
Yeah,
it. I love the Mummy.
yeah. The Mummy is great. It's at points. It's honestly the closest thing we've gotten to like
And
an
Indiana
Indiana
Jones. Yeah.
Jones.
No,
Yeah.
you're right. It's very in the
So
vein of that kind of adventure. I would
yeah,
like a mix though. Like it should be a balance of the horror and the. I mean, the other two Indiana Jones, like the trilogy, aren't really. I feel like the first one they definitely get the horror a little bit.
yeah.
Am I
But
confusing them?
What, The Mummy or Indiana Jones? What are
No,
you talking
Indiana
about?
Jones. Like the first one is like kind of there's like horror in it a little bit.
Nah, the second one, there's horror.
Second one I'm thinking of, yeah.
Temple of Doom.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
when they eat the guy's heart and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, they ripped the guy's heart out.
yeah.
But yeah, we'll
Anyway,
see. I'm excited for this. I
yeah,
like Lee
should be good.
Cronin.
Yeah,
But all right. Now we'll move on. We'll try to do this relatively quickly.
yeah,
You want to just go list our top 10 straight through maybe for this?
yeah.
Just
I'm
so it's
gonna.
quick.
Yeah, hold on. I'll
So you
pull up
could
my list
just
right
yeah,
now.
just tell us
We're
what
just
the
gonna
list
rapid
is.
fire this. Yeah. Um, you guys can cook me later for whatever when this gets posted on TikTok. So these are my top five. Nominated but never won. So
Or
Samuel L.
top
Jackson,
10, top 10,
top
right?
10, top 10. Samuel L.
Nominated for an
Jackson,
Oscar but never won an Oscar.
yeah.
That's the list. Go ahead. Oh wait, no,
Samuel L.
hold on. Wait.
What?
Sorry. You keep saying Samuel L. Not finishing. They didn't have to be nominated, right?
No, no,
Okay, so
just never
just
won.
top 10 actors or
A lot
actresses
of
who
them are
never won.
nominated though.
Okay, sorry, I cut you off like 5 times,
Nah,
but
you're good. Yeah.
go
So
ahead.
Samuel L. Jackson at 1, Scarlett Johansson at 2, at 10, Scarlett Johansson at 9, Michelle Williams at 8, Angela Bassett at 7, Judy Garland at 6, Amy Adams at 5, Edward Norton at 4, Ralph Fiennes at 3, Sierra Rose Rion, I always fuck up her name, at 2, and Willem Dafoe at 1.
Okay, who the fuck was number 2? Spell that for me.
The one in Lady Bird.
Oh, Saoirse
So,
Ronan.
oh, did I? Oh, fuck, I spelled it.
Just say Saoirse Ronan at 2 so I can add that
Saoirse
back in.
Ronan at 2,
Okay.
and then Willem
All right,
Dafoe.
that's not a bad list, honestly. I'll talk a little bit about mine, you know.
I mean, yeah,
They
honestly, the biggest ones were Willem Dafoe. I was very surprised he never got anything. Florida Project, I was like blown away by him. I can't believe he didn't get. I didn't think he got nominated.
Yeah. He has a couple nominations. Yeah, it's crazy that he's never won. He was nominated last year, wasn't he? For Poor Things or no?
Yes, he was. He was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all right. So my list, number 10, I have Robert Pattinson. Number 9, Florence Pugh. 8, Johnny Depp. 7, Adam Driver. 6, Jake Gyllenhaal. 5, Hugh Jackman. 4, Jim Carrey. 3, Amy Adams. 2, Willem Dafoe, and 1, Scarlett Johansson. All actors and actresses probably you would think would have won, a bunch of them.
Yeah.
But Jim Carrey, dude, he's one of those you wouldn't think
Yeah.
of. But Eternal Sunshine, Truman,
Truman.
and some of his funnier shit. I mean, obviously wouldn't get Oscar nominated, but I couldn't
Surprised.
believe ScarJo never won.
Yeah, I was
Honestly,
surprised too. I didn't. And honestly, Judy Garland, I was very, very surprised.
no,
She's fucking Dorothy, and she was in the original. Oh my god, what is it called? They just remade it with Lady Gaga. A Star is
Star is
Born.
Born.
Star is Born.
Yeah, I noticed Willem Dafoe was high on both of our lists too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson and Florence Pugh, I put them towards the top of mine because like they're very good, but they're
They're
still
good,
both
but like they don't have
they're
like a
both
lot of your.
new-ish, so like they will eventually, probably,
You think
but
Patterson will?
probably
I
eventually.
think Pugh definitely has a very good chance.
Yeah, she's been
Not, I'm
nominated
not,
before.
I'm not, I'm not doubting her. Her like, what's the word? Like and all these actors that you listed are obviously talented. I just feel like the roles that they're in, like there's actors I really, really like, but I just know they don't take Oscar-worthy roles. You know?
Yeah, that's true. So,
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, it was a good idea for a list.
Yeah.
I like doing that.
You want to talk
Yeah,
about our
we'll talk
next
about
movie?
our next movie, which I recommended. So,
Yeah.
our 6th movie of the day. I'll read us a little synopsis here. Just give me a little second here. So, I recommended the movie Black Christmas from 1974, directed by Bob Clark. So, this is a horror film that's set in a sorority house during Christmas. And it's honestly, it's one of the first slasher films ever made.
Yeah.
It's not something you really think about, but
Not
1974,
at
that
all.
was before Halloween. That was same year as Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So, very interesting. It's slept on in terms of those classic horror films, but anyways, here's a little synopsis. As the residents of the Pi Kappa Sigma sorority house prepare for the festive season, a stranger begins to harass them with a series of obscene phone calls. So yeah, like I said, takes place in a sorority house, basically follows this group of sorority girls who are getting terrorized by this killer. Um, and it takes place during Christmas, so it's fun in that way.
Yeah.
I really oh god, excuse me.
You're
Sorry,
good.
sorry, sorry, sorry. Um, I really love the look of this film, and I
Yeah.
like how it feels very Christmassy. Like it's not like, oh, it happens to be Christmas. Obviously, Christmas is in the title, and it's definitely like a Christmas movie, you know. Um, and I was also kind of surprised that something coming out this time. The cast is pretty much all woman, you
Yeah.
know. I don't know if the idea of like a final girl was really a thing at this point.
Probably not, but
This is probably one of the first ones, but that was really cool to me. It kind of reminded me of Suspiria in a way, in the way it looked, and
yeah,
just that all woman, kind of like following the woman.
good point. Um, what was I gonna say? I also was really surprised. I don't know, like I had no idea that a lot of like the horror kind of tropes had to have had been inspired from this. Not tropes maybe, but it was like even shots that remind me of Raimi in here, like with them like kind of zooming in by the door and the killer being inside the house. Like you could see obviously a lot of horror movies been pulled from this before.
Yeah, even
Um,
Terrifier 3, which we just saw,
yeah,
which obviously was a Christmas movie.
movie.
It
And
was on my
honestly, now
list
that
from
you
last
like
week, but
now that Terrifier 3 has a similar kind of like like I guess I don't want to aesthetic of Black Christmas in terms of like the sets and stuff like that in my opinion.
yeah,
Like the
definitely, because
feel,
you have these lit up holiday
holiday,
houses
yeah.
with a killer going through them. And it's kind of like, yeah, that opening scene in Terrifier 3. There's a Christmas tree, it's all decorated for the holidays. Just that in a horror movie, there's something weird about it. There's something like off about it because Christmas is a time that you associate with, I guess warmth, like feeling good,
Family, yeah.
family. And just to have that, but now you're scared because, there's a killer in your house. It's just an interesting concept. It's cool to do that for a horror movie.
Yeah.
That's why, yeah, 1974. It is kind of crazy that this was released back
Came out,
then.
yeah. And also it also covers like some pretty like I don't what's the term? Uh
Uh, Progressive.
progressive topics. Like the primary point of the movie is that this girl wants to get an abortion and like her boyfriend's like fighting her about it, but she's adamant about getting it. And that's kind of wild for a movie back then, especially like I don't know, they used to not air stuff like that. That was
Yeah.
like
Uh, That honestly reminds me, the movie's also very vulgar in points.
yeah,
Like, that kinda surprised me, not
the
especially
script.
that especially that the fact that it's all woman in a sorority house, the way that they
Yeah,
talk, it's, like, very sexual
sexual.
and
Yeah,
vulgar. Even there's also a part where the killer calls the main girl, and she's like and the killer's like, "Oh, why do you wanna kill your baby?" Like, some shit like that. I was
yeah,
like, "Holy shit." But yeah, even, like, the way the girls talk to each other is just very vulgar, which was surprising, but I kinda
yeah,
I liked it. It brought a little bit of levity to the horror.
yeah.
I think it was pretty scary, honestly. Like, I wasn't scared, but I could see how
Being
the
scared at
idea
that. Yeah, yeah.
of
I
getting
agree.
this phone call of, you don't know who this person is, you don't know where they are. One of your friends is missing and this person's calling you, like, threatening you, and, it's
Yeah,
scary. I
yeah.
know they've remade this a few times,
I don't.
and
Yeah, but I don't think it's like anything. Right.
I'm sure it'll get made again, probably. But, yeah, I don't think it's anything crazy.
Yeah, I don't, I'm surprised that like they watched that movie and what the people took away was like just the basically the sexual parts of it, and that's what the remake is from what I've heard.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, I would be scared to see a modern day remake of this, but I'll probably watch the other 2 at some point. Um,
it's it's 2.6. I mean, that's not the worst for a horror
yeah,
movie.
that's not horrible. It's better than Craven.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I think this is a solid slasher. I just think maybe the one thing it's missing is sort of that iconic slasher villain. He doesn't really
yeah,
show
it's so
himself at all.
himself. Yeah, I mean, I thought it
I
was pretty obvious. It was the the boyfriend, but I don't like,
Yeah, I don't know. Besides that, pretty cool. I mean, I know people say this is like a super classic slasher movie and it's very highly thought of, but I didn't think it was anything too crazy, honestly.
I think it's more just when it came out, in my opinion, because I don't know. It's like very like it seems like very basic, but like this was before any of that stuff was really done.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
way before any of those '80s kind of that was kind of like I guess the golden era of like slasher or thriller kind of things.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I was just really surprised about how much of the horror elements are in it and how long ago it was made. Like I never would have expected this to be. I always thought it was just like a stupid. I don't know. I never knew it came out in the '70s. I always just thought it was like a stupid like Christmas
I
horror movie.
expected it to be campy. Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah,
gonna be campy, goofy, but it wasn't. It's
it
even less
wasn't.
campy than fucking Texas Chainsaw, which is
Yeah,
also a
honestly, you're
very like
right. Yeah,
serious kind of movie that came out the same year. It's very serious, but aside from the vulgarity of some of the characters, it is very serious. It takes itself seriously and it tries to scare you,
yeah.
which it works in that way.
No, absolutely.
So,
Um, did you have a favorite scene?
um, I honestly like the first kill
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah,
where there's like the cat too.
yeah.
Like
That
she
late
thinks she's going after the cat, and then he kind of wraps her face up in the saran after killing her. And there's also
one with the
there's
hook, right?
yeah, but there's an homage to that in Terrifier 3 or Terrifier 3 with Art being wrapped up with the plastic over his face, sitting in a chair in the
Oh yeah, in the attic. Oh, I
yeah
didn't even realize that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that
Shit.
was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
And there's a scene of Art like lifting his axe up, and the same exact shot is used in Black Christmas. So there's some connections there. I don't know.
That's cool.
I like that scene. Also, if you look at the Black Christmas poster, that girl wrapped in saran sitting in the chair,
Yeah.
that's like on the poster too. So
Yeah.
yeah, that scene kind of stuck out to me.
Yeah. No, that was honestly I was gonna say that scene too, but I mean the hook scene's cool as well. Um, I'm trying to think of like what that the last confrontation, like when they're in the basement, doesn't something happen? Like,
Mm,
yeah,
I don't know. Honestly, I don't really remember.
yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean the first kill is probably the most memorable to me.
yeah,
Hate to be
I
basic
think
and say
so.
the same thing, but
Yeah. I liked a lot of the cast too. Margaret Kidder, who played Lois Lane in the Christopher Reeve
yeah, I
Superman.
knew she looked familiar.
She was good. Olivia Hussey. I don't know. I think that's how you pronounce it. She was really good. She's like the main final girl. And then John Saxon, who he's the main detective. He's also the father from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah,
Big fan of his. So I think pretty good cast,
yeah.
ahead of its time film and gets the Christmas spirit down. Uh yeah, I guess we can get to ratings unless our favorite characters. Favorite characters.
Um,
I'll go with Jess, I guess. The
I guess
main
Barb,
Yeah,
because
I
she was
like
the
Jess.
funniest,
Yeah, Barb was funny. She was kind of like the free spirit.
free spirit of the
Yeah.
house.
I like
Who was
Jess though.
the nanny was funny too. That was like drunk.
Oh yeah, and she hid Mrs.
They hid
Mac.
the
Was that her?
Oh yeah, Miss Mac. Yeah,
She had
they like
like
hid the whiskey
bottles.
bottle in the
Yeah.
the
One of
the
them was in the
cabinet.
toilet. That was funny.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but
let's get to ratings.
yeah. So I
So
gave. You want to go first?
I'll go first for this one
Okay.
just because I recommended it. But
Sure.
so Black Christmas from 1974, I gave it a 3.5 star, 7 out of 10. I think it's very ahead of its time in terms of being a horror slasher film. It's one of the first slashers we've seen. I love the setting. I love how the film looks, sort of the graininess to it. That Christmas vibe just captures all of that. There are some things that I don't like about it. Like, yes, it's a slasher, but it's missing that sort of slasher icon that really popularized
Yeah.
the slasher later on, maybe in the next 10 years or so after this came out. But overall, I think it's very solid, and I respect that it wasn't campy and it actually tried to be serious and tried to be scary. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I also gave it a 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5, so an 8 out of 10. Um, like Matt said, I didn't expect it to not be campy, but I ended up actually really liking that it was kind of serious, and I like that it's this first one of the first kind of slasher movies of his time, and how progressive it was too. I was kind of surprised by that as well. Yeah,
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that wraps up the episode.
yeah, we had a pretty
I
long
don't.
one.
Yeah, we don't have any questions because I knew we were doing 6 movies this episode, so I didn't even put up a Q&A.
Yeah,
But I guess
but
we
yeah,
could get to.
my
I'm supposed to
recommend.
recommend a list, but instead, I'm announcing that on the next episode, we're going to be announcing our nominations for the second annual Cool Epic Awesome Film Awards. So we have 10 categories. I'll read through them really quick, and we're going to be giving 4 nominees for each. So let me pull them up. That'll be a lot of fun. We did it last year. It was a good
Yeah,
time. So the categories are Best Picture, Best Lead Performance from a Male, Best Supporting Performance from a Male, Best Lead Performance from a Female, Best Supporting Performance from a Female, Best Breakout Performance, Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Horror Feature, and Best Animated Feature. So that'll be
quite
fun.
a
We were
lot.
gonna
Yeah,
we were gonna do Best Superhero Feature, but I
and
was
best
putting my
international feature too.
I was putting together my superhero features and realized Madam Craven were gonna be on it. That's how bad this year was. So we pivoted to animated instead.
Yeah, animated had some bangers this year,
Yeah. So
but yeah,
it'll be fun,
um,
yeah. So yeah, maybe you want to recommend your movie, Joe,
yeah.
for next week?
So, this week I wanted to recommend a movie directed by Peter Jackson, and it's The Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Ring. But I haven't seen this movie in probably 10 years. I know it's talked about as like one of the greatest trilogy ever made, and how like it was. I don't know. I feel like everyone just talks so highly about this series and about everything about this movie. So I'm excited to watch it through kind of my what now that I've kind of have a taste for movies and I'm into it. Watch it now because when I was younger and I watched it, I barely even paid attention. But I'm really excited. So yeah, Lord of the
Yeah,
Rings.
I'm excited to check it out again. It's
Yeah,
gonna be a long movie, but it'll be
that one
worth
was
it.
like 2.5 hours, right?
I think they're each like 3 hours,
Yeah,
honestly. But we'll get through it. They're all on max. So
nice.
all right, yeah. And next episode I think might be delayed a little because Joe's actually going away. Where tell
Yeah,
the
I'm
fans where you're going.
going to Rome and Warsaw. So we're glad. I don't know, Gladiator wasn't filmed there, but Gladiator takes place in what's that other movie?
Well, didn't A Real Pain take place in
Yeah, Real
Warsaw?
Pain. It takes place in Warsaw, and I'm going there.
Yeah, so that'll
So
be
it's kind of
cool.
cool. Yeah,
But yeah, so we might be a week delayed, but I'm sure you guys will survive.
everyone will
Uh,
be all right.
yeah, but we'll also talk about Nosferatu and Baby Girl,
Baby
I guess,
Girl.
next episode.
Yeah,
I already saw Nosferatu. I
I'm
saw
seeing it
it.
tonight. Actually,
I saw it about 2 weeks ago because I'm
yeah,
just
lucky.
I'm just that guy that gets all the early invites. But yeah, Joe, you're gonna see it what tonight?
8:30.
So
But thanks to fucking Mufasa, because Disney bought out all the IMAX screens. I have to watch it in the regular one.
damn, that sucks. You sure you don't want to see Mufasa again?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the city in Mufasa and see Mufasa in the IMAX over there again.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
But all right, well, thanks everyone for listening. I
Yeah.
hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we'll see you guys in 2 to 3 weeks.
Peace.